Need to change that. Episode 36. Yeah. What are we calling this? What are we talking about? I forgot. Episode 36. Talk about stuff.
Talk about stuff. What are we talking about? We're talking about crisis, and we're talking about dual affiliation versus dual leader.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Hell yeah.
There.
We're in a good spot. We're in a good spot.
We are. Had a great game today. Yeah, I really feel like, I don't know, like the only thing that I can think like action wise that I could do differently is just like say, all right, Psylocke's not going to attack anybody this turn. She's just going to double move and grab this before you do.
Yeah, I think that like that kind of just approach in general was kind of the story of our game for what that's worth. Because it was
it's very much like small actions.
Yeah, like little bits here and there.
Things.
Like, I mean, when I look back on that game, I look back on that voodoo activation where I literally said like I feel like I just leave this here. And voodoo does other stuff. And maybe that would have made a difference because I guess I could have potentially won when you dazed Proxima. If I had. I would have won when Thanos activated as opposed to like when Proxima did the mission objective, right? Because if I don't pick up with voodoo, I force a situation where you have to run over with, I think, Psylocke to pick up the mission objective piece.
Yeah.
Not the mission objective piece, but the third cure, basically. Mm-hmm. You have to come over and grab that with Psylocke or Cable, or
you score 6.
Or I score 6 that turn, and I think I win.
Yeah. It was a good game nonetheless.
It was. It was a fun ride. And
it makes me happy that you had to spend a lot of time thinking.
Well, that's
typically not the case in the X-Force. Typically it's like, I'm going to do whatever I want to
do. Yeah, it is. But like playing Black Order, there's a moment in like almost every game. And in our game, it was multiple moments. So I will give you that. But there's definitely a moment like you hit a turn when you're playing Black Order where you just have to be like, hold up, stop
pump
everything.
The brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes, hold the phones. I literally have to play this whole turn out in my head real quick, and then we'll come back to it. It feels like that scene from that Hero, the Jet Li movie, when he's like the martial arts dude, and like he has that fight against the dude who's Chirrut from Rogue One.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name right now. It's killing me, but when they have that whole fight where like they do it like 3 times and it's in black and white, where it's like they see each other across the courtyard and then they like run the whole fight through one or both of their heads like 3 times and then they actually have the fight. And that moment always happens in a Black Order match that's like anywhere close to close. And our game was definitely close to close.
So. Yeah, I think, and this is crazy because like I think the core of Cable, Logan, and Psylocke is like where it's at. Like, I've had fun with Clapback. I've had fun trying to redo Clapback, where it's like running Bucky and Senior.
Yeah.
But it's like, I tell you what, like, it feels really good running Logan and Psylocke. Like, it feels like I actually have agency where I've never had agency before when saying I'm playing X-Force.
That's a really good feeling.
It is. Like I feel like X-Force is finally in a spot where they can truly be competitive.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to do this real quick. Before we get started with the actual show, I'm going to do something real fun.
Okay.
Because we don't have people here anyways.
Good. F them then.
F them. What's a good picture? As there's like 5 people here.
They all just like pile in suddenly. Hey everybody, so glad to see you. So glad you made it in. I'm trying to repair the East in a way that does the least amount of damage to everyone's strength of schedule because of some drops and some changes to the way that Longshanks is set up. Like I literally don't have access to tools that I had 2 weeks ago when I had to do the same thing. Because I've got people who dropped after playing their game. So when I try to repair the round, like they are not there to do it. And when I go into host tools, let's see if I can bring them back. That's what I could do before, was that I could just force them back into the event for the round. But like they're already in the event. Yeah, so like I add him to the round, but he's still dropped. Which is different than it was a week ago. Manage players. Is that where it's at? And then I bring you back. Undrop. There we go. Alright, I can do it. Stellar. Whew. Let's try to do this again. Like, I love and I hate doing this stuff. Like, it's so fun.
You can do it. You can do it.
Like, it's so great. But at the same time, it's like, golly. Like, this one's my fault. So I got nobody to blame for this but myself. Because the player messaged me. I was like, hey, I'd like to drop. And then I was like, I'm going to pair the round. Like, just full blown, like pitch meeting style.
That's the way to do it, though. You know,
you said you dropped, huh? Oh, well, what if we just paired the round? Oh, okay, let's pair the round then. Yeah, all right, I'll pair the round. Like,
it's fine.
Except it would be right. It would be. Except I told 2 people they could play. The guy who got the buy, who was a new guy, like basically like. Wound up with 2 buys because of the drop I didn't drop. And so I let those guys play. Because let the boys play. That's my general philosophy on this stuff.
Let the boys play.
Let the boys play. Let's let the boys play. So I copied every single... I took a screenshot. Not a screenshot, but like a snip, whatever. Right? I took a screenshot snip of every single match that got played. And now I'm going to recreate the round in total.
In total.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Total.
Lucas versus Nick. Man, I wish that game... was that streamed? Was it like on Discord or anything? Like, that would have been such a great game.
I don't know.
So my buddy Jaden has been playing Inhumans. And literally every week he messages me after I pair the round to be like, oh, I see you paired Nick into fucking bullshit again this week. P.S. I'm 0-20 against Malekith. And then I see Lucas versus Nick. 19-7, Lucas's favor, Malekith into Black Bolt. And it's just like, well, okay. Guess it finally happened. Like, here's the thing. I guess, like, no matter how good Inhumans are, maybe they have a really hard time into Malekith.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, while we're off the air, right? Like, do you, or
we're
off the Rogue Agents permanent record, but on the YouTube permanent record, right? Like, what do you think about that? Do you think that Malekith is just like advantage against Inhumans, or do you think that it's literally like the Black Bolt tax is even harsher when there's a Malekith there on the table to either remove the pieces around him or him?
It's similar to like when you're playing against like X-Force, right? Like,
sure.
I'll agree there is a cable tax. I won't deny the fact that cable can feel a little bit like an anchor sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't think that one character is going to make or break your game.
Yeah, I agree in general.
I guess for the most part.
My thing is like I tend to trust Jaden's work. Like even when he doesn't win, he understands why. Yeah. You know, like,
but I guess like what I'm trying to say is like you hear about like Black Bolt being an anchor or Cable being an anchor.
Yeah.
Or all these characters being anchors or certain things like that.
Sure.
But it's like Malekith is like that into anybody. It's not just because it was Black Bolt or just because it was Cable. Like you have a whole nother team that you're supposed to be designing around, dealing with things like, okay, I know Malekith's going to be here. What do I do?
So I mean, and that's like something that I think might just actually be this matchup is really bad for Inhumans. Because like, it's just really bad for Inhumans. And they have a lot of.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
They have pieces that are just going to get bullied by Malekith.
Yeah.
Just period.
And that just happens.
So, I mean, do you feel that that is like paper, rock, scissors territory? And that like, if you're bringing in humans to the table, you're literally just being like, well, best I got is paper. Best I got is paper.
Isn't that a good spot for the game, though, is to have it be like paper, rock, scissors. You're just going to have to punt some matchups. Like, it's going to get down to that at some point. You know it's true.
Yeah, fair enough. Like,
but that creates gatekeeping, and it creates different things throughout the game itself, more so than just like I'm making a list. Like, you have to like really consider these things, and I think it adds more depth than just do you know where I'm getting at? I'm like kind of talking while I'm trying to do this.
Kinda. Like I get what you're saying. I feel like it's both inevitable and it's also something that like should kind of be tried to be kept to a minimum at the game design level. Right? Because like,
which I think they do a good job of. Like I really do.
My thing is like, so like coming from like you know, going back to back order, playing in the Nova event, like one of my takeaways was just like, wow, like I lost to Web Warriors twice, but like I don't think I fare any better against the Avengers rosters that were there, right?
Yeah.
Like once I'm into the cut, like it's like 2 to 3 Avengers rosters playing flip secures, and that was like everything I thought I didn't want to play on.
Well, like you think about like you had like you literally ran into everything you didn't want to see.
I mean, for the losses, yeah, and I diced you.
Yeah.
So you know,
I mean, I hate saying that. Like I had some poor decisions. Like if you should
not have checked.
Yeah, if I didn't like, I was like, I have 2 dice. What's the chances of me getting it on Widow? Like it was literally just like I really don't care, and I'm just doing this because I don't know what else to do, and I want to do something. Which comes back to a conversation we've had before, where it's like know when not to do something.
Yes, and honestly, like that's the only mistake that I can think of in our game, besides not rolling well enough for the rest of it. Like that's just it. Just is what it is.
Okay, I added Psylocke to our screen of faces.
Nice. Is Psylocke yours now?
Well, I still have the kitty, and I got Thanos, and I got Hulk, and I got Bill, and I got Psylocke.
Oh wow! Okay, look at you go.
We need more favorites. You have to let me know something because you need another favorite. We only got Thanos in here for you. I have 2. No, Hyper has 2.
I need more.
Thanos is the only one.
No, it could be Thanos now. Like I felt like I had to compete with Hyper for like the first like 6 months of this cast about Thanos, and then like,
but he hasn't played Thanos at all since he's been on the cast.
But he was the Danger Room like Thanos episode, so I'm still just kind of like, how about that? Yeah, I did Inhumans to be a team player for that. I really wish that like I would have been maybe a little more forceful about what I wanted to do. because
do that next time. You know,
the Inhumans episode was fun. I enjoyed the Inhuman episode that I did, and like the point that I wanted to make to everybody was like, you can build this roster a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
like I hope that's what people got from that episode when they listened to it.
I think that's like the strength to Inhumans is like there's a lot of jank and a lot of like crazy stuff you can do with them. They're very list flexible.
Yep.
And I think that's where I finally found where X-Force's strength is all of their characters are extremely adaptable to what's going on.
Yes.
Unless you have Proxima move Lawn to the corner of a board, and I just can't think about it.
I mean, if I gotta do what I gotta do, I gotta do what I gotta do.
But it's like for the most part, I would say X-Force has like extremely adaptable characters to what's going on.
Yes. But
anyways, I think we're ready to get started. I think we can.
Oh, I need like 3.5 to 5 more minutes.
Okay, yeah, we can keep it.
Just because I'm on table 14 now.
Oh, okay.
Table 14 of 25. I'm almost there. Daniel Stevens versus. Thanks everyone for bearing with me while I do this. I really appreciate your attention, or hopefully like not very much of your attention. Like I hope this is going on in the background while you're doing something productive and or fun. Like painting a model for Accountability Club.
I forgot to do it this month again.
Oh,
I have 2 days still.
God.
I have 2 days.
You do. Pick a model.
Rogue is still sitting here on my counter.
Oh man. Gilead and Ian. Table 16. Robert versus Schmid. Hey, that one's already in. Nice.
I will say though, like, something that made me super happy about our game, was the fact that when I did use the reroll card on Sabretooth into Thanos, the fact that Sabretooth with one action almost killed Thanos makes me feel really, really good about that into Malekith and into Hulk.
Yeah, especially since like Thanos just has like damage reduction. Which
like if he didn't have damage reduction, I would have done it. If he didn't have damage reduction, and my first attack was slightly better.
Slightly, yeah.
Slightly
ever
better.
Ever so slightly.
I think I had like 3 successes on 7 dice reroll any. Something silly like that. But it's like 7 reroll any into 5 reroll any just is like kind of hard to beat. So like he only needs 1 action and 4 power. And reroll any really does kind of give you like you're gonna get your trigger, and if you don't, then it's just not your day. Right. Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like a hit in a wild shouldn't be that hard to hit on reroll any.
Jake Fisher.
But somebody else just drop or something?
I wouldn't say they just dropped, but like I didn't notice that they dropped before I started the repair.
Oh my goodness.
So I have to start the repair over.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Jake Fisher.
It's okay. It'll be fine.
It will be. It will be fine.
But I will say, like, I find it incredibly hard to decide if I want Crimson Dawn or Psionic Constructs. I just find it so hard to pick one. Like, could I just
all right.
I feel like I need both.
Let's start this episode. I'll do the rest of this afterwards. We're in some good energy now. Let's do this.
Okay.
I'm ready for it. You're ready for it. We can do this.
Hitting the buttons.
Hit the buttons.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this world, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky? You don't like I think you know. Which part? All of it. You think you're the only hero in the world?
It's the do-do-do-do's that get me every time.
The do-do-do-do's?
Yeah.
That's what gets you?
Yeah.
Out of everything that could get you, that's what gets you.
That's what gets me.
Oh, I can accept it. All right. Welcome back to the Rogue Agents Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast with... Oh, man, you need to pick something because now this is bugging me. I didn't notice I had done this. This is so uneven. Do you see
Oh, my
this?
gosh. What is going on here? No, give me a Thanos face. Just bring a Thanos face.
You have a Thanos face. It's in the top right.
Oh, I have to have a second. You're saying that
Yeah.
now that
Because
we're here,
now, because
Corvus,
now
please.
you see, you want Corvus?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll work on Corvus. Not right now though, but next.
All right, next time.
Okay,
next time.
because
Corvus,
now this is like super bugging me because there's like 3 on top and 2 on bottom, and they're not spaced out evenly.
No, I get it. No,
Yeah,
it looks terrible, and Psylocke is like right above my face, so it feels.
Oh,
even
we should do
weirder.
it the other way around. Let's go like this.
Yeah, like let's fix this. Yeah, get
Psylocke.
Psylocke on your side.
I'll put Bill over there for tonight, and then we'll put Corvus in here.
Can we just move Thanos down over me and
move
move Bill up into the Hyper Viper section of like all the things that are Hyper Viper?
Eventually, we'll have this whole entire thing just full of faces.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
All right, we did it.
I feel good about this.
I do too. I like it.
If you're listening to the podcast, we just arranged some pointless details on the live stream. Congratulations.
Yeah. Come hang out with us. Totally interrupted the like introduction, the fix live stream issues, right? Okay.
I mean, if you're gonna fix live stream issues, like, isn't that the time to do it?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
All right.
Let's get back on track.
Already?
Let's get on track to start off with. How about that?
Let's do this.
All right. Where are we? Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you to the patrons and the listeners. You guys are very special in our hearts. We are Patreon rewards next week. Big Blake, I still owe you a shirt.
Hey,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and honestly, like the tokens have yet to be shipped. So if you think they're lost in the mail, thanks for giving me the benefit of the doubt. They're not. They're literally like in my closet.
I will say, I think anybody that like expected professionalism and organization from us, thank you for your belief.
We appreciate.
But Big Blake, I still know, and it will come to you eventually. When's your birthday?
I think it's Ron. I think Ron's the one I owe tokens to still. I think
it's Ron as well.
Yeah, Ron and B Terra. I'm so sorry, guys. Like,
okay, so
2 young kids, a full-time job, and my car broke in early December. So I don't have a car, so now I have to like manage time with the wife and kids.
That's fair. Mine is I just forget things. But anyways, if you would like to become a patron, I guess feel free. The link will be in the description.
There are rewards.
There are rewards. They're just we'll get them to you. We should do a special, like, I don't know. We keep talking about stuff we want to do for patrons, and we had a bunch of ideas. We need to get back on that train.
Well, we need to get the cups made for Accountability Club, which is unrelated to our patrons, but we really need those cups made because Matt needs his cup.
Yeah, true. I need to look through my messages.
Probably
and find
Joey.
The person I was talking to about them. So there's that.
Right. Next time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Joey makes it every month too, and I make it probably once every couple months.
I finally completed Clea. I'm just saying.
You did?
I'm
so proud of you.
I did that.
That deserves a cup in itself.
I'm proud of her, to be perfectly honest. Like, I've yet again done a disservice to my pro acryl paints, but she looks solid for being a model that I've put on the table like less than I can count on my hands.
That's fair. All right. So
it's like a fragile taco.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Accountability Club got 2 days.
2 days. Get your things in. Get it in. Let's do
this. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I just want to say big thanks to the patrons and people that come here and listen and hear us ramble and talk. We get a lot of people that say thank you guys for talking about this, and it blows me away every single time because we are so scatterbrained sometimes. I don't know how we get any points across.
I would love to hang out with any of you in my garage, which I feel like is the energy we go for here. It's just
I love it when I see that. It's like this is like the most chill, but it's also informational, like at the same time. I think a recent one we got, somebody had said on a YouTube comment, it was something like, thank you for what you guys do. I feel like my games are getting better and better the more I listen. Like, yeah, that's great, man. That's great. So
no, thank you. Keep listening, please.
Yeah, keep listening.
If you can get like the good stuff, like via osmosis, like we're here for.
We're here for it. All right. Now that everybody has tuned in because the timestamp is after rambling.
Yep, here we go.
Hot takes, cold drinks. I am drinking a Tripping Animals Brewing, and it's a sour.
It's got a sour tonight.
Yeah.
Awesome.
the wife tried it, Victoria, right? And she said it tastes like alcoholic fruit juice. I don't really know how to describe it. It's not really sour. It really just tastes like an alcoholic fruit juice. Like it's just like sweet. And then I also have this for after that one's gone. It's a strawberry banana squeeze, sour ale with strawberry and banana. I was really curious to see how that tasted.
That's fancy. I'm excited. We should probably have a second segment to Hot Takes Cold Drinks tonight, considering you have a drink to try.
A second one.
Yeah. I'm drinking Sweet Baby Jesus tonight.
That's such a cool can.
It's a peanut butter porter, and it's everything you think it is. If you like porters in the slightest or peanut butter, I would definitely recommend trying to pick this up. It used to be kind of hard to find, and it's gotten a lot more popular over the past couple of years. So you can probably find it at your usual large selection.
Does it taste like a Reese's peanut
Emporium.
butter?
It's good. It's good stuff.
That's good. That's good.
It's very dark, but it's not that like dark that like leaves a film, you know, because sometimes you're like, oh wow, that's going to change my insides. Not this one. This one's good. It's good.
Or will it?
Well, you know,
all right.
I'm immune.
So we have kind of two topics that we want to talk about tonight.
Two topics.
Well, actually, I guess three. Let's go ahead and hit this real quick. Nova tickets go on sale Wednesday. I believe Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST, from my understanding.
Let's crash them servers, y'all.
Let's crash them servers.
Yep.
I know Sam and myself are going, and I know quite a few other people are going. I know Hyper. We're trying to convince Hyper to go. So
we are. Team tournament would be super fun.
Yeah, we're definitely trying for the three of us. But if we cannot, we have some people we're looking at. We don't know yet though. We've got a couple bids, you know.
Yeah, not trying to pump up our painter numbers, but like for real,
we're a hot economy.
We're looking there first.
True, which I think both the people we're looking at are
yeah
patrons. So
like basically, like you just gotta want to go to Nova, get a ticket for the team tournament, and let us know that you did that, and you're probably in the running.
True. So I immediately was like, oh, we should get Matt. And then Sam's like, but he's playing the exact same list you are.
No, I get X-Force. What we should do is that I'll play X-Force and the two of you can fight over this crap.
That's not how it works. But yeah, man, I've been loving the crap out of X-Force again. Like it's so much fun. So yeah, Nova coming up in September.
Yeah.
Gonna be a good time. If you want to be there and hang out with us, just let us know when the time comes. We were up until like 4 a.m. almost every single time last time. I don't think we're gonna do that again because we were I don't know, we're Sam's older and I'm old.
I mean, we can save these things, but like I mean, all it takes is a bottle of Fernet and I'm ready to have a good time. So
it just takes Sour Monkey for me, apparently, because that's all I had.
And maybe Devin.
Devin's gonna be there.
Devin was the best drug I had at Nova. Not gonna lie.
You're not gonna wrong. Like you're not wrong. Like he will keep you going no matter how tired you are. And what a wealth of knowledge.
That first night when we just like walked around everywhere, and he was just like, and this is this area of the gaming extravaganza, and it was just like, well, yeah, I guess it is. Tell me more.
Let's talk. There's gonna be in a new location this year. Have you looked at the hotel? Like it actually looks.
Oh my god, no, I haven't.
Nice.
I haven't.
Oh,
no. I just saw that it said, you know, at the Jefferson or the this or the that.
Yeah, no, the hotel looks really nice. And the best part about it is, like, I think every single room is pet friendly. So
that's good for you.
Yeah, it's great for me and the wife. And it's like if anybody's like not wanting to go to Nova because they're afraid of like their animals, the hotel that is listed that I've seen so far is pet friendly. So there is that. All right, first topic. We're gonna talk about the crises ones.
I feel like just to start here. Not that I always watch our Twitch stream, but it looks like you're like. I feel like I'm dominant on the Twitch stream right now. If you want it that way, that's fine.
Come over here like this, but I look bigger. I'm zoomed in and you're way back.
Yeah, like you're getting all the guitars instead of just like just some me.
Okay,
Like you got all the guitars and then like some of my work stuff. It's quite a wide angle that we have going on here. Oh, there we go. See, I feel way better about that. Yeah, one guitar. Yeah.
Oh, that bugs me.
Oh, now I'm bigger, but I have Thanos like over my head. Like maybe if I like crunch up, like I can get Thanos over my face, or not.
Oop.
This is solid podcasting here. Like,
it really is.
This is what I live for when it comes to the podcast element of this.
This is what everybody lives for. Okay, are you happy now?
I mean, I'm still bigger than you. I feel like
no, you're not. I don't think so. I think it's pretty even right now.
I feel like
that's pretty.
Screen. I'm just saying.
No, that looks split. That looks split even to me.
Ah, man, I don't know. Pull up the Twitch and you'll see it. Like
I'm looking at the Twitch.
Do you see like the large black border to one side of the screen, and like we're like completely offset, and then I don't know.
It looks fine. It looks fine.
Okay, fine. Let's move on.
Let's move on. It's fine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my domain.
All right. For those of you who turned back into this timestamp,
we have topics.
So we're going to be talking about, I think the first one was Crises, because we thought this would be like a real quick one.
Yeah.
So
Playing fair.
Playing fair.
Yeah.
So especially with X-Force, this has been something that I've been kind of realizing is I've been really liking running Alien Ship, Montesi, and Kree-Core. Mostly because, in my opinion, these are probably the most fair extracts that you can run. There's only 3 of them, and it's hard to get an advantage on any of these 3.
I am the coldest I have ever been on Montesi. So when we get to like talking specifically about Montesi, I'm here for it. But like, I want to hear what you have to say about the rest of them.
So
I largely agree on the rest of them. But
so for
F
me,
Montesi.
Okay, so I think this is like an X-Force specific. Let's go to Montesi right now. I think like for me specifically, Montesi is fair for X-Force because I have Logan, I have Salak, I have Bill with Eyes on the Prize. And I think if I didn't have those 3 things, I would not be running Montesi. So if I have priority, I just run Bill with Eyes and I get the middle one and you can't do anything about it. Like, cause he's just going to go grab it and back away.
Okay.
There's nothing you can do.
Let me scale this back just a wee bit.
Okay.
Montesi with Prio is super fun. Especially with the safe grab. It's Montesi without Prio is where I start to be like, no, sell.
So, and this is where it comes into where I think X-Force has actually an edge where a lot of other people don't. Is a lot of X-Force characters have action on the center line round 1. And even a little bit past the center line due to cat and mouse and movement shenanigans that a lot of the affiliated characters have, like 23 and Psylocke for main examples. Or if you're running Wolverine can too. And a lot of times these are characters that are able to get 2 attacks on the center line, not just 1 attack, which makes it really dangerous for your opponent to go grab center line. We saw
without
it
a safe
today.
grab. Yeah, without a safe grab.
Like if you have a way to grab it, like let's say Bill with Eyes, if you have that, then I'm absolutely not getting it. But here's where my other point comes in: is the worst that is going to be a 1 point disparity for like Montesi, Kree-Core. Like
that
that's
1 point is so meaningful though.
It is, but let's think about this. A lot of people say, well, what about Hammers? Because Hammers is 2 and 2. Yeah, but if you have playing an opponent who has a safe grab and they have Prio, they're probably going to be 3 to 1. No, it's a 2 point disparity.
So I disagree about that on Hammers. I feel like Hammers is still safe-ish, because if you've got a safe grab on 1, what do you have on the other side? And then depending on who has Prio, that really dictates a lot of what the possibilities are there, right? So if you've got like an Angela or an ASM lined up on one of those sides where it's just like all you need for a safe grab is literally that piece and to like not have unfavorable terrain, and you have a safe grab. I think that's a great place for those pieces to shine, and for rosters that are fielding squads that include those pieces to shine. the difference between Montesi and Hammers is I lost Prio, you gave me my extracts, I flipped this, and now I have to figure out what happens next. So if it's Hammers, like, there are more variables than just I put Angela here and we're done, right? So on your side, I'm evaluating if you have safe grabs. I'm evaluating how many safe grabs you have, and I'm evaluating, can I wait for you to commit that piece to one side or the other, right? So there's basically 3 levels of am I screwed here, or am I letting you dictate the course of the game here? On Montesi, it's literally one variable. I lost Prio. Here's Montesi. You got a safe grab? Crap.
Okay,
guess
so
I'm playing
I
a
guess,
point behind.
I guess, but okay, so if it's a safe grab, yeah, absolutely. But it's a point behind. But for how long is that point going to be behind? Like not
Sure.
not very
You
long.
played me. I mean,
Yeah.
I just ran away with everything I could.
Well, that's because that's
get out
Dr.
of Dodge.
Voodoo. Dr. Voodoo just. It was fine until
I
Voodoo
would
made
have
me
done the
drop.
same thing with Fury.
Well, you're not wrong, but it's like, so let's think about that real quick. But like without
Yeah.
Voodoo, like I really think the game's in my favor.
That's possible.
I
I mean,
think
I'm way
it
less
is.
concerned. I can run Fury there, right? Because I
Yeah.
did have Prio in that match. I brought Voodoo. So all right, for the people who need a slight catch up here, right? Like Dizzard and I played right before we started here, and I played my new Home Sweet Home Black Order roster against his same as it ever was X-Force roster. By same as it ever was, I mean Home Sweet Home, not like
Home Sweet Home.
It's the same damn roster. He's
It's
been
basically
playing for a
completely
year.
different.
Yeah, because it's not. And we played cat and mouse. No pun intended, considering that you actually played cat and mouse turn 1. But we played cat and mouse over the center objective on round 1. And neither one of us would actually commit our pieces because it meant terrible things for both of us. And then in the end, terrain wound up being kind of advantage to me on turn 1, which meant that I had more options for it.
Oh, side note. Let me interrupt you real quick.
away.
Real big learning point that everybody should know, but you probably learn it and then you forget about it because it's very rare that it actually comes up. Pay attention to what size things are before you deploy and commit a model. Because I put Logan down and I was like, this will be fine. It's a size 2. And then I go and look at him like, oh, that's a size 3. Crap.
Yeah.
I can't actually see him and he has a complete save grab right there.
Yeah. So that terrain was good for me. And then on the in the central part of the board, there was a piece of terrain that was a great distance away to prevent Psylocke from short moving onto a point. With
that thing screwed me.
action
If I just
coming.
like,
Yeah,
if I just been like cat and mouse, I don't care if she gets incinerated. Like,
Right.
would have been fine. But no, like terrain like screwed over my round 1 so hard.
yeah,
Like
terrain.
I had such a great round 1 potential, and terrain is what robbed me of it.
So if there's something to take away from our game, it's really like, pay attention to terrain because it can be super meaningful.
Oh, wow.
And that's okay.
Okay, another interruption. I just cracked open the strawberry banana.
All right.
It tastes like a strawberry banana milk cake, but very, very thin.
Okay. All right. That's great.
Yeah, like it
Sounds
like punched me in the face with flavor. I was not expecting it to be that strong a flavor. Delicious. Okay, anyways, but like so we talk about hammers though.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing with hammers is I'm still in the mindset that Mystique is still very heavy in the meta. And wherever Mystique is there, that is you have no it's going to be 3-1 unless you have an absolute safe grab.
Well, I mean, they can still set the same Mystique team that shows up to play on Senators can show up like one activation less on hammers.
Yeah.
And basically force a safe grab on both sides. So no, you're forced to basically like line up something on both sides that can do a safe grab or something you're comfortable with.
But it's also like and this is like my big dilemma right now with my current roster is I really like hammers for the roster and it feels good whenever I play it. Like,
Sure.
yes, I would love a hammer on Logan. I would love a hammer on Psylocke. I would love a hammer on Cable. Like, these are all great characters to have hammers on. I just am stuck in that mindset that somebody else is better than me on hammers, and I feel like Montesi is just more fair.
Well, I mean, that might be because you're playing Cable and Shadowlands Daredevil exists. So, like, there is literally a leadership and a model that is better on hammers than you are.
Yeah. But then I have affiliated characters that are arguably better with hammers.
Sure.
Granted, Daredevil with Bucky and a hammer is just absolute stupid. But
no, Bucky with a hammer is debatably like
broken.
Like, it's not even debatably S tier. It's like debatably like, is it fair? You know, like, he's so good. He's so good. I remember when it was like 60% Shadowlands Daredevil in the field, and it's like, why the F would I ever bring hammers to the table? Like, it's just like I'm just
I might still just be stuck in that mindset. Is like, why would I bring hammers to the game? Like, one, other people are bringing hammers. I don't need to bring it. Where it's like Montesi, like the additive you get from Montesi is a 6-die beam that can't be modified and you can't add dice. So literally it's just 6 dice, whatever you get, it's whatever you get.
Yeah, but it's a center grab. And like I know that there's ways to play around that, right? Like you bring yourself a voodoo, you bring yourself a more nominal steel. Like, sure, like you've got tools to get around that. And okay, like, here we go. But I don't know. Just losing prio, going down a point on round 1 is just not a good feeling. So like right now, like I said, I'm the coldest I've ever been on Montesi right now. And it is literally because I lose prio. Almost everyone has access to a safe grab now. Maybe that's because Bill is very popular, right? In this like little slice of time that we're in. But there's plenty of other characters that have that, you know, the same assets to pull that off. You've got Skull, you've got Strange, you've got some Thanos variants that can all grab 2 hammers round 1, pretty much like one of 2 approaches. One is either without prio, they're deployed centrally and they can just go to whichever side they need to make it happen. Terrain dependent, of course, but you know, it's not that hard. It's not like some of the old like janky like Defenders stuff where you were like, well, so long as there isn't a building right here, I'm fine, right? Like the eyes plays are a lot more gentle than anything that I think I've seen in the game, where it's just like all you have to do is just bring eyes and a character that can play it with 3 power and a medium base and a medium move, and you can either A, get a safe grab on one side and grab the home with the same character and be deception proof and surrounded by, you know, the support pieces that you brought, or you can deploy centrally and then you have access to your central hammer and either side. And that kind of flexibility makes me very uncomfortable on hammers, because now they are effectively dictating the scenario, right? So like,
but that's why I like Montesi though, is because at that point I'm too down. I'm too down.
On hammers, you're not going to be too down. It's going to be 2-2, but it's going to be like the battlefield is the way that you're.
Well, if I have somebody who's going to have 2 hammers on a flank, I am okay with that, because I'm just going to send Logan in their throat.
They're not going to be on a flank though. If they have 2 hammers, they're not going to be on a flank more often than not. They're going to be central to their battle group, if you will.
Which that's fine too, because it's like they can have the 2 hammers
Logan,
and sit there, and it's like, okay, you can have 2 hammers on one person. I really like. I'm gonna get 2 hammers at one point in time. On one character, and next thing you know, I'm gonna have Logan with 3 hammers and exceptional healing accessible, and only have to pay 1 extra power for it. Like, that just sounds like a time that people do. And I feel like I'm making an argument why I should be playing hammers.
You
but
are making an argument as to why you should be playing hammers. Like, it sounds like you should be.
I need to test it. I guess I should probably like look at it. But I think back to like the main topic at hand here, what we're talking about is like, is it better to play for an edge on your crises, or better to play a more fair type scenario? And I think that I still honestly think that the most fair extracts are probably, I guess,
There are at least 3 extracts that come to mind right now because honestly, I'm in the same place, the same headspace right now for me.
So okay. So I guess the one that could probably be more fair than Montesi is going to be Legacy Virus, like what we just played. Yeah, because it's so hard to like actually like make the score.
Yep. Assembling Voltron is not as rewarding, and it is harder than it used to be. Like it's not actually harder; it's just harder in that like it's not as rewarding. So it's not as rewarding.
Well, that and like it's like to me it's Researcher, Alien Ship, and Voltron.
So I agree with you on Researcher. I think that Hammers is surprisingly fair, and it's something to be considered because it is 4 individual pieces to be picked up. I think Scrolls has a similar element to it.
Yeah, but Scrolls can fuck you so hard. Like,
oh yeah, if you get drawn in, right? Like if you get,
that's why I don't consider Scrolls fair. Like Scrolls,
I'm gonna steal your far scroll. Like I'm gonna double move, steal your far scroll. Oh wow, look at that! I'm like within range of your entire squad.
I did that. No, I did that with Bill into Right Mad on our game, and I was like, I'm gonna double move Bill, and oh man, so I double moved Bill. I was on the prize his scroll, and he pulled me in. Yeah, and then Bill lived on 4 health for the next 3 rounds.
He did. No, Bill was super tough about it. He was just like, "What if I just like kept soaking?
What if I just didn't die?" Oh man,
no, that's miserable. So I don't know. I'm the coldest on Montesi I've ever been. So if we want to talk about fair, I think that finding ways to play fair. And I'm not sure about the, quote unquote correct answer on this, right? Like what's, objectively correct? No idea, right? I know that my personal experience on Montesi has been a not great win percentage, losing prio, getting handed my extracts, and flipping into my Montesi. And because of that, I'm done. I'm done with it. It's gone.
Done with this. Throwing it out. All right. You know what? I'll try Hammers out. I'll try Hammers, or I may try Legacy. I don't know. You're really kind of burned me on Legacy this game.
I had prio though, right? So like, and I, even though we might have both had Legacy, I don't know. I don't remember what we did. I remember I looked at your secures and I said, your secures I'm okay with all of those secures. Yeah. The only difference was you were running demons. I was running intrusions. I was fine with it. I was like, yep, that's fine. I can handle the downgrade to demons or whatever. And I did not want to play on your other extracts. I don't remember exactly what they all were, but it was just like, nope, I'm out. I'm just going to nope out from those extracts. And I'm running Virus and oh golly, I'm running the Alien Ship because it's slow, and I am running Research Station. So you had like 2 of those, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. But I did not want to see your third, which might have just been Montesi.
I think it was Montesi.
Probably should have just taken it. But like, fine, it's fine. Because I had prio. But I didn't have a safe grab because I'm not running eyes in my roster. Yeah. And I missed eyes our entire game because I felt like my not reality Corvus actually would have loved to have just activated kind of early and grabbed something. And made it back.
Like grab that middle point and backed away.
Yeah, because I brought Mothership to our game, but like after round 2, it was obvious that Mothership was not going to be a factor, an element of our game.
Yeah.
So, fairness, right? So fairness is a real consideration right now. Don't bring senators unless you have ways to make that unfair. Otherwise, you're going to give teams that have an unfair advantage on senators an unfair advantage against yourself. I feel like Montesi, unfortunately, kind of falls in that same category.
Well, I feel like it's more so you need to look at the game of if I have prio and if I don't have prio, do I still have an edge? If you still have that edge, absolutely go for it. But a lot of teams don't have an edge both ways, in my opinion.
And honestly, like if you have a big enough edge with prio, like keep it, sure, like whatever, like now you're looking at a percentage of a percentage of a percentage by the time you get to like not having Montesi without prio, because you lost the initial prio roll, you got handed what you got, and then you accidentally flipped into it. So 50-50, 50-50, 33%.
Yeah.
So if you feel good on it, like, sure, bring it. But just understand that you're going to have that, what, 12% punt?
I just feel
It
like
just happens.
secures are a whole entire different animal. Like this mostly pertains to like your extracts. Like,
yeah,
I think secures are a whole entire different mindset in animal.
Well, I mean, I remember when I went to the first NashCon that I went to for MCP, like I was amazed at how many players I played against. It was literally like win or lose prio. They just picked their secures when given the option.
Yeah,
and it was a different world back then because it was.
No, you made
yeah.
your list to be like, whatever I get, I'm gonna be good at.
Mm-hmm. And I like that it's different now. Like the more we talk about playing fair or trying to find an advantage in these things, like so okay, on extracts, do you think you can find an advantage like outside of like Brotherhood and maybe what Steve
X-Men.
Avengers, Inhumans, and X-Men? So like that's like 4 affiliations.
Yeah,
they can legit just like show up, bring senators, and not be concerned about it. Like, does anybody else have that kind of an advantage on extracts?
I really don't think so, because it's like I guess you could bring like Hulk into a lot of teams and that can give you an advantage, or bring Jugs into a lot of teams and give you that advantage.
But there's got to be that like refund, or like there has to be some sort of like power sharing, power saving, or like refund in order for Jugs and Hulk to like actually do the nasty in those situations.
I got a comment on this real quick. Joselle in the chat. The last TTS game I played, the game ended with Logan with a dossier, which is like having 2 hammers. Used his builder into better a build and got him to 1 health, and then he used his beam spinner and proceeded to KO all 4 remaining members of the team. Logan with hammers equals brutal. Logan in general, like even without the dossier, and without hammers, he's brutal. Like in our game we played earlier, like he took out Corvus and Voodoo and almost Proxima. No, she was barely hurt, but like taking out Voodoo from basically he one shot Voodoo, and one shot Voodoo, one shot Corvus with the spinner. Yeah, like that Tornado Claw is brutal. Like if you have the rerolls online, Logan's like 7 dice, like it's so good. I love Logan. He's
honestly amazing. Logan is some of the most fun I've had playing this game. Like him and Supreme Strange, and I mean. I'd be a liar if I didn't say it. Thanos.
Psylocke. Psylocke. Oh man, Psylocke is like. I love Psylocke so much. I know we're not like read the card, but like, oh my god, like I have been loving Psylocke in this game. She's so good.
No, so our game was my first game into her, and I definitely felt like I had to play around her the entire time. So I will concede that point to her. Like she kills it. Between her okay, let's talk hot takes real quick, right? Like here's our first diversion of the night. Her tactics card, the psionic constructs, right? Like I guess maybe we touch on this in listener questions.
We have enough hot takes. We don't need any more. No more opinions, no more hot takes. We've heard them all. We've had enough. No more. Isn't it awesome? Everyone can just shut up now.
Oof. So about that. So psionic constructs. Maybe we touched on this a little later in the listener questions, but I feel like there's an interesting space for that card and splashing Psylocke just in general, especially as kind of a weird pseudo support piece for big boy characters. Like the fatties that roll large dice pools, or however you can engineer a large dice pool. I think just bringing her as that. It's online from like turn 2 if you don't do anything crazy round 1. Like that's, wow.
Honestly, I hate to say it, and it's like probably the oldest meme in this game, but like her under Steve is probably nuts. Like getting her pseudo charge plus 2 dice on 1 power, like she just gets it round 1, doesn't have to do anything to get it. Like that's big. and then you have Iron Man and or Hulkbuster with a Helios, so you're gonna have the power across your team to actually play for it. Then you just like be able to reroll any on that Helios and make it Mystic. Like that's huge. Like a Psylocke under Sieve like seems really, really, really good.
I like that I was messing with you the other night on the Discord, and I was like, "Oh man, you can't decide, then take Buster." And then like we get this whole like psionic construct. You must construct additional pylons. Like all of a sudden, like there it is. Like holy smokes, Helios! What?
Yeah,
this is gonna be nutty.
Giselle, I keep trying to convince Sam to play her in his Black Order to get Super Giant Spinner with that trigger.
The competition is thick at 4 threat splash in Black Order. That's all.
Facts.
It is thick.
But yeah, like
cut it with a knife.
I will say, so I think Psylocke's my biggest complaint about Psylocke is not having Pierce, but it's almost not needed. Like, I don't think I've had like feel bads about her trying to kill somebody and like being like, man, if I had Pierce, this would have gone through. Typically, when you go after somebody, she either completely whiffs like everybody else in the game, or she just takes it out. Like she is an assassin, and I love how she feels like an assassin in this game. Like she is performing that role like really, really well. The fact that she has stealth and martial artist, that little bubble of like you're gonna enjoy hitting me from this specific range, any other range you're gonna hate going into me, feels great.
Have you looked at the defensive versus like if they're at range 3, I'm guessing she can get right in there, right? That's got to be, yeah, for sure. If they get to range 3 of her, you can come right in with her not in charge.
If they come into her, they're gonna eat a 7 dice Mystic / energy. No, her affiliations haven't been spoiled yet. If I had to guess, I would say X-Men, X-Force. Other than that, I have no clue. Maybe A-Force. I could see them potentially doing A-Force.
Oh my god!
But X-Men, X-Force are like in my opinion, like the Force Shores.
If she's A-Force, I feel like She-Hulk gets like a whole nother like layer. Like Ogre's got onions. Like there's like there's a whole nother layer of what She-Hulk can do with that 7 die builder that she's got, and like the bonus dice and stuff like that. That sounds golly.
But and then the fact that it's like she's just a quality 4, like.
Oh, she seems great. Like okay, so like all right, the version 2 right is now Emma and this whole Hellfire Club thing. Like I that's interesting. There's that. My first read on Hellfire Club was literally like, wow, healing factor, and Emma is just a powerhouse tank. She's just gonna get her stuff, and that's gonna be that.
Yeah. Like, I'm so tempted with my X-Force list just to be like, I'm going to throw Emma and Hellfire Club card in. And now this covers me for when I need to go wider, or if I have like a bunch of, like, if I'm playing like, let's say Senators and Scoundrels. X-Force cannot play Senators and Scoundrels. There's way too many points on the board.
Sure.
So
do you think that, is there a place for like Weapon X, X-Force, Hellfire? Where you're bringing
card space. Card space is the only thing that's screwing you, because you look at my roster.
Death, huh?
Well, it's like if I took Hellfire Club, I dropped marked. Which is probably the call. But it's like if you look at my roster right now, I have Logan, I have 23, I have Domino, I have Honey Badger. I can easily go Weapon X. Hellfire Club's too easy because you just need the card. And then X-Force, I have an X-Force roster. So it's like if I literally just add Hellfire Club, and are you sure you want to remember? I have a tri-affiliation roster.
Oh my goodness!
But is that fixing anything? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think I'm playing around any of your leaderships, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm looking at the actual leaderships that you're bringing to the table in that combo, I'm not going like, oh dang, oh, because it's that.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to do
this. But the thing though is like Hellfire Club leadership is just like, I don't know. It's better than a Weapon X leadership. I'll be real. Like, let me give Logan healing factor 3.
Oh my god. Yeah. And is it actually healing factor? Does it?
No, it's not. It's not actually.
Heal, right?
Just heal. It's just a heal.
It's not like Psylocke's card where it actually gives her healing factor, which is so huge. Like that's immaculate in my
And
opinion.
like back to Psylocke, like her cards, like we talked about the reroll one a little bit, but Crimson Dawn, oh my god, like I swear I see the internet, right? And people are either hot on one card or hot on the other, and they think the other card's complete trash, and I find it hilarious because there's no like consensus about which card is the best card from the pack. That should tell you that both cards are good, like in my opinion, which is hilarious because some people are like, this card's good and this card's trash, this card's good and this card's
hold on, give me that hot take thing again. I'm kidding, but for reals, like I feel like all that actually means is that we can't hot take her two.
They're good. They're both good.
We can't get a good
read
hot take on the hot take.
I can hot take the crap out of it. Like you tell me, I tell you what, like every game that I have played Crimson Dawn in, like I was like, I'm so glad I had this card. Except for one, and that was this game because you never attack Psylocke.
Because I play like a bitch.
But like that's the thing though, is like I'm playing against Black Order. I'm like, Psylocke's probably gonna die at some point in this game. And
well, I mean, it's just a lot of what happened in our game is literally what you gave me. Right? Yeah. Like if you give me targets, I'm definitely going to be like,
that's completely fair.
Tractor beam you in, wipe you off the table. We're done here.
But like
you didn't give it to me. So,
but also the thing that I think about too though is like if I had actually gotten Psylocke flipped and given her that card, I could actually probably reach Proxima with her.
Yeah. But F that. I don't want any. I want no. Like, I want no part of that.
I will tell you, like, if anybody is like skeptical of Crimson Dawn, just go ahead and measure out what one short move and 3 range bound places will do. And that's quite a bit of distance to be able to move that far and get 2 attacks.
So Crimson Dawn took Psylocke from being like meh to being something that I'm considering like across the board. Like I was looking at Convocation and I was like, well, I think I would bring Emma over Psylocke. And then Crimson Dawn comes out and you're like, wow.
Yeah, I can get a
combo
place
bump plus place 1. Like that is so much movement. Like we're talking about like that is action economy right there. And it's action economy that my opponent has agency over, but doesn't necessarily realize the level of agency. Like I
that and like the fact. Okay, so here's my other thing with it is the fact that it gives her healing factor, like keyword healing factor, which means she now has access to exceptional. Yeah. And I think this is why she's a 6/5 and not a 6/6 for her health. Because if she was a 6/6 and had healing factor, on top of everything else that she has, like I don't think she dies.
I'm with you.
I just don't think she dies. Sure, you can argue that Logan is a 6/6 with healing factor too. But Logan doesn't have defensive tech, where she has stealth and martial artist.
Like the last turn that I pushed her away, I considered bringing her in because if I bring her in, healthy Psylocke, right? Yeah. Like I'm not so worried about healthy Psylocke. It's injured, like I get her injured, like fine. But because you brought Crimson Dawn, I have a whole like another layer of consideration there, and that made it so that the answer was clear. Like, no, go
away.
Yeah.
You hit hard and you just survive.
Go.
I've had games where people like explicitly like target her and they're like, she needs to die like now. Like, and it's crazy. Like they're like, she's like, which is great for me. Like, yeah, I may lose Psylocke early, but then they're leaving Logan, they're leaving 23, they're leaving Cable alone. And I'm like, okay, like I'm just gonna do whatever I want with everybody else because you're explicitly targeting Psylocke.
No, and if you can get like that perfect storm with her then too, where it's like, okay, like you've decided that like Psylocke is your target. You're like, all right, Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
If they don't get the lucky shot that gets her to 1 health on her injured side, then that means they've got to take 3 actions into her. And like that like threshold is huge. Right, because like 2 attacks
all
into somebody,
juicing her up.
It's just like fine, like whatever, right? But then like, what if? Hold my beer, right? Like, what if instead of removing her from the table, I juiced her up, let her get into position, and just kind of like the only thing that I actually dictated in this game was being like, hey, what if you had to activate Psylocke this turn? That sounds terrible to me. Like she's awesome. She's great. I want nothing to do with her.
I love her. If she is not X-Force, I will literally email Pagani and
I will shed man tears for you if she is not X-Force. to be perfectly honest.
It's crazy because I see people all the time like, what if she's not X-Force? I'm like, she's literally in almost
No.
every single run of X-Force except for like the very first one.
Nerdy, I will shed nerdy man tears for you if she is not X-Force affiliated because it makes no sense.
But like, let's get back to the segue you were starting to our second topic.
Wait, what did I do?
Well, you were talking about like just throwing Emma in there with the second leadership, and we like something else we wanted to consider is mono or dual affiliation. Are you hurting yourself by trying to go dual, or is it worth it? Especially with Hellfire, especially with like something like Hellfire Club on the table, where you can literally run something where it's like, okay, I'm stuck with a 5-point leader. So let's consider the 5 or higher point leader games. You have Defenders, A-Force, and X-Force, right? Asgard too. Which Inhumans, which all arguably have really like a really good roster of characters. Like X-Force, you got 23, you got potentially Psylocke, you got Honey Badger, Domino, Defenders.
You've also got Storm. That's like not a difficult flex for.
Well, Storm's not X-Force.
No, she's not X-Force.
I see.
Like,
I see what you're saying.
You can just like bring her in, and she's off. Like,
but the thing about
really
that though, but the thing about like bringing Storm is you're not getting like a high quality character.
Whoa! You're not getting someone who fits the primary game plan. But
yes, okay, fair. but the other thing about that is X-Men wants so many tactics cards that are different than X-Force. So like you're really crowding yourself. And that's always been my issue.
I felt that with Weapon X too. When I was trying to do the Weapon X X-Men, it was
that's always been my issue with like X-Force and X-Men is it's like I can't make it work where I feel good with both sides.
Yeah.
Where it's like Hellfire Club, I don't think you need this mind swap card. I think it's a cool card, but that seems really hard to pull off. Like to where you get like really good, like unless you're playing Researcher or Gamma, it seems like it's gonna be like pretty.
I don't know, man. Like that. That's the kind of card that's like
game changing.
It's game changing if you let it happen, which means you have to play around it if you don't. Yeah. But there are tons of situations where Emma has a hard time meeting the triggers for it. So playing around it can be very difficult. So in my mind, that relegates it to like kind of like game night meme kind of territory where you're basically counting on your opponent to make a mistake. You're hoping that things work out well for you, and you're going to bring this to capitalize on that situation.
Situations. That's right.
Yeah. Which is fun for me. It's fun for me. Like, look at that. Oh, look at that. Black Widow just giving Hulk an activated token.
But it's like,
gotcha.
I'm at a, that's really rude. But I'm at like kind of like a crossroads where it's like, I could literally just like drop Mark for Death and then drop, let's say, Domino. Because she's like the one character that like I'm very much like, I don't really ever play this character.
That is so sad, but yeah.
And then like just run Emma and then basically still be able to play Logan Psylocke and be affiliated. And only be worried about one card, and I'm only playing one X-Force card. So it's like it's too easy to just throw her in there and like be able to feel like I'm more flexible with my roster. I agree with you though that it's not really presenting any other questions. But like let's talk about Black Order, like this game specifically. Like if I had Emma instead of Cable, like I feel a lot better about not getting just bullied into a corner. Like
I guess. So like I look at that, and from my perspective in Black Order, because I play bitch Black Order, is literally just to be like, I stagger everyone on your team and I walk away from you. What do you do about that?
Yeah, but so like with Emma stops it. Emma stops it though.
How does Emma stop that?
She has the thing that Jean has where she says, no, you don't place me.
Once. She doesn't have that much power. I'm not attacking her. I'm not letting her attack me. Like
she generates power so well though.
She has to like attack me still. Like she just
her power generation is probably like her too, but her leadership helps her get power too.
Sure. So okay. So like maybe it's interesting, but if she's generating that much power, you're not scoring.
You're not.
Those
wrong.
characters are taking damage.
You're not.
So
no. If you are generating power, you are scoring because you don't get the
generating power and scoring, or you're taking damage and not scoring. Right? Like that's.
No. It's like if you're either holding or securing an extract or secure, you heal a damage and gain a power. So
And
it's
if
like
you're not,
you.
then,
So like you don't get it if
then
you.
she gets it if you didn't.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. I thought it was like everybody gets it if they're like doing it.
I think it's just her. I could be wrong.
I have to look at it
We're
again.
not the Read the Cards podcast.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Let's look it up and read the card real quick.
All right, I'm gonna go to the Danger Rooms Discord because they have a spoiler section that's right there.
I mean, I'm just gonna look it up.
My Hellfire Club. I can't read that. It's so tiny.
Oof, brutal.
All right. During
I
Emma
made the
Frost.
mistake of looking up Emma Frost.
During Emma Frost activation, nope, Headmistress. Once per round at the end of an allied character's activation, Emma Frost may use this leadership ability. When she does, all other allied characters contesting or holding and remove one power. All other allied characters not contesting lose one power
really
and suffer one damage.
There's so much agency for Emma in this, where she gets to make that call. Well, I mean, you do, but it's fun to pretend that Emma does, right? Because it's like it's the end of whoever's activation.
Yeah. That card is interesting. I miss the whole entire like, hey, if they're not, they're going to take a damage and lose a power.
Yeah.
Which I guess like with my list, I'm actually okay with that because of the healing factor and because of the fact that most of my people never have power anyways.
It's an interesting leadership. I just don't know if I look at like our game and I'm like, well, because that means that like, what's different?
You're bringing
Emma instead of Cable and X-23 instead of Badger.
Where Badger was an MVP that game.
No, like I had to pay so much attention to her. I would have paid as much attention to X-23, and I don't know if it would have gone any better or worse for her.
I think it would have gone worse for me because I'm expecting more damage output. Where Badger dies, I'm like, okay, she did her role. Like she died. Yeah. She died where Logan and Sabretooth got to live.
Yep. And I just threw attacks that were like basically like wasted actions from my characters into your Honey Badger that you brought because you were like, well, I guess I'll bring Honey Badger.
And then you were like, oh, Corvus is now hamstrung and can't move where I need him to move to.
Yep. I mean, that was wild. The Corvus thing, like the hamstring on Corvus was decision changing for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the 1 damage through.
I got the 1 damage.
I like Honey Badger.
Personally. I do too. I've always loved Honey Badger, but there's times where I'm like, God, this character does nothing. Then I got to remember. And
speaking of Honey Badger, this can give her power to play Jonathan. You pick the right moment.
Ooh,
no, it probably can't because she doesn't contest. Never mind. She only.
She doesn't get the extra power. She doesn't get the extra power.
Strike that. Reverse it.
Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. We were wrong. I don't know. I got to look at it and I have to test it because it's like I do have to lose Domino. Which there is argument
to me. That sounds hard. I don't like the idea of losing Domino.
Well, it's like the only time I play Domino is when I be playing 23. So it's like you either play 23 or you play Domino.
Sure.
Which is like completely scenario dependent on which one I'm taking. Because sometimes I want one and sometimes I want the other. But it's like doing that to grab another 4 when I already have Bill, Psylocke, Logan, Sabretooth. I already have 4 4s. I would have to add a 5th 4, drop Mark for Death, which is like one of my few plans to help out against like stealth heavy teams.
No, I've got 3 4s in the Black Order roster, and it feels like at least 1 too many. So maybe that's just like me, like trying to fight this adjustment to the 4 threat renaissance.
Yeah. Well, I love mine because I can play Cable, Bill, Logan, and Psy and 23 at 20. I love that list. So much fun.
Cable, Bill, Logan, Psy. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, it's fun.
Big Badger at 19.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what I played.
Yeah. Except for Bill, you brought Sabretooth instead.
Because I had to, because of the affiliation. Hey, Chance, first time had to listen live. Awesome. Nice to come hang out with us. We're kind of in a rambling hot takes moment right now.
Well, I mean, we're talking about like things that we just one has had a chance to test.
It kind of is. I mean, it kind of is in line with like the topic of like duel because like when you looking about like Emma and Hellfire Club, like is it worth bringing Emma and Hellfire Club card on these like affiliations to like shore up some weak points where it's like, do I really want to be playing Cable at this threat value when I could just be playing Hellfire Club instead of going unaffiliated, like, or leaderless?
Sure. And okay, so all right, so we're in the topic now, right? So like going leaderless, like basically dual leadership versus dual affiliation versus just going unaffiliated is basically the topic, right? Like, if I'm not wrong here,
but what's crazy, what's crazy about Emma and Hellfire Club though is like it's almost not dual affiliated because you're not forcing other characters into your roster. You're not forcing other tactics cards -1. Like,
no, it's like Splashing Dormammu used to be. Like, so like Sam Sweeten did in the Danger Room Invitational Tournament thing.
But the issue with Dormammu though,
and Dormammu,
but
right?
Dormammu, so like, but Dormammu has a lot of cards that he wants to bring too that are specific.
He has one.
Well, you're gonna want you want his card. You want Smash. You want R&D.
No,
like,
you might have been bringing R&D anyway, especially at the time that.
That's fair. But it's like Emma, you really only care about Hellfire Club. Like,
sure,
that's all you care about. And she's a 4 threat. And she's a 4 threat, not a 7 threat.
It's true.
8 threat.
8. I feel like if you get to the point where your roster is like you have 9 of your roster slots are basically spoken for, and like you're like, I know what these 9 tactics are, then like maybe Emma's a consideration for you to be like, all right, hold up, like evaluate your other factors and then consider bringing Emma in, right? Because like if it's like you've got Wolverine or Logan the Wolverine, you've got healing factor characters in general, like you can do this early enough in a round that if you were doing the things, you're like, boom, got it. Like, we're good here. Okay, everybody gets a power. Everybody gets a, heals a health. And now your healing factor is even better. You're healing 3 instead of 2. Or it's like, well, it's early enough in the round that I still have the advantage I had from last round, so let's do this right now. I take some damage. I lose some power, but I don't care. I heal the damage back at the end of my activation. I punch you twice, and I don't care. So I feel like there's an evaluation factor for this that does make it very splashable. Absolutely. Where you're just like, I just bring Emma, and I bring my Hellfire Club, and I'm good to go. I have things to do at places where maybe I didn't have them before. Yeah. But I think it's important to recognize what you're actually bringing her for.
Yeah. But it's like she's also got a killer kit. Like she's got Jean's Great anti-displacement.
It's interesting.
She's got like pretty good mystic attacks. Like into Avengers, I actually really like Emma.
Yeah. The counting blanks bit in her diamond form is nutty for what all she's getting from it.
Like there was a line where I was like, do I just take Colossus and OG Wolverine and then throw her in there? That way she can like totally Mystique, fastball special.
If there is ever a balance pass that like gives OG Wolverine a touch, I feel like he's so close to being right there. And what's interesting in my experience, I don't know about yours, but also like some of the people I've talked to about running Logan, is that you get to a point in running Logan where like basically like forcing his rerolls is not priority 1.
No.
He has tons of other things that he does in the game and does it very well because of the teleport, because of this, because of that. But like you don't necessarily need him to have those rerolls. And in my opinion, like that's not what sets him apart from OG Wolverine is literally just the fact that he teleports on the attack. The teleport on the attack, in my opinion, is what sets him apart, not the rerolls. The rerolls are great for his output when they happen.
It's the fact that he gets it on the builder and doesn't have to pay power for it, where OG Wolverine has to pay 3 power to get the teleports.
Yeah, right. And the fact that he has to do damage for the throw to go off versus just like I just pay 3 and it happens.
But I think like to bring it back around to like dual, mono, unaffiliated, all that stuff.
This.
I think we kind of like really hit it there. Talk about the whole Emma thing. It's like is what I'm trying to do with this duel actually asking questions of my opponent that I'm not already doing? Is it worth sacrificing stuff from my main game plan? Like I think there's just so much. There's a majority of the affiliations minus a few. Like I think most everybody should probably be running mono, to be completely honest, because you take away from so much of your game plan when you start to duel, and like most rosters are so wide now that you don't need that option anymore. Like minus like Wakanda or Winter Guard. And some other outliers.
So, okay, on that note, working with Will on Criminals over the past month has been a hoot for me. I've had such a fun time exploring theory that I haven't actually had to test myself to see results from. Because it's literally just been like, hey, like, this is what I think might be good in Criminals. Like, you want to play Criminals, like, please, like, test this out and see where it goes. And watching his results has been, really interesting because to some extent we have kind of come to the same conclusion that's like Kingpin and Shadowlands Daredevil don't want the same things. And that's been like the biggest point in building dual leadership Shadowlands Kingpin rosters is like, well, Shadowlands wants bodies that are going to put out a lot of attacks, and Kingpin wants bodies. He just wants
big boys.
Yeah, he wants bodies that, take a punch better than most others do so they can stay healthy. The biggest push is really in the tactics cards. I think that's where you really start to see the pressure in trying to run any sort of multi-affiliation rosters on your tactics. Because you've got 2 restricted list cards, right? So that brings you down to effectively 8 in almost any build you're doing. So now we're down to 8 tactics. Then you've got your affiliated tactics, which is, between 1 and 3, depending on what affiliation you're looking at. And so that can take you, we'll call it 5 for, 5 or 6 tactics left. Now you've got your character specific tactics cards. And that really, gets into it. You've got fallback in the mix as well, because fallback's very, 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 very good. And okay, now how many of my character specific tactics cards? And it's like I feel like my 10 tactics turn into me doing thought exercises on what 5 tactics I'm going to bring to the table far more often than it turns into I have 10 tactic slots. What do I want to bring? It's literally like, what do I bring to the table and win? And that determines a lot of what the actual tactics cards that make the 10 are. And now, so working on Criminals has been like one thought exercise, and now working on Black Order in a way where I refuse to give up on Corvus leadership plan B. I'm not hot on Corvus leadership in general. I don't think it's a fantastic way to approach your tactics hand, to just be like, what if I just played with 4? Like that's a hard sell for me. So Hellfire is in that same branch.
But it's like Hellfire doesn't really care for a lot of the characters that Criminals are breeding, in my opinion. Like they're not.
Oh, I'm not talking about bringing Hellfire like into Criminals so much as I'm talking about playing playing a roster that wants to go in 2 very disparate directions.
I think so. I keep coming back to Hellfire, but it's like
it's the topic.
It's easy, yeah. So it's like Hellfire is like super easy because this is one character and one tactic, and like you can still probably make a really good list with that.
Corvus is a little different because Corvus is like you're bringing Corvus and you basically get pigeonholed into bringing Black Order characters.
Well, it's like, let's look at your roster. Like if you were to throw Emma, and let's just say you had the room, and you could throw in Emma.
I don't.
And
tactics are the tightest spot of
but
my
let's just say you had the room for Hellfire Club.
Okay.
You could literally run Emma, Corvus, Black Swan. That's about it, because gems.
I mean, that's 14 plus 3.
So Proxima.
Yeah, so I could do that from 16, 17.
Which isn't bad. Like it's I almost.
No. But then you have better than Corvus lead, to be perfectly honest.
Like it might. Like, but then you also have the issues like if you're not contesting or holding an objective, which you probably are, if you're trying to get at people, like.
Unless it's demons, right? So like in our game, like I didn't want anybody on those points. I wanted Voodoo on a point and like literally none of the rest of my team.
Yeah. But it's just like, I mean, that's another great thing about Bill. Bill could just like, wait, no, Bill can't. Can Bill shirk the damage for leadership, or is it enemy effect? No, he can shirk I can't think of what it is now. Oh God, Bill.
Read the card.
Bill. Bill. There you are.
Bill.
If this character would suffer damage, so yeah, he could actually reduce the damage from the leadership, which is kind of funny.
So I mean, he loses 2 power. For what it's worth.
But I mean, like if he's almost dead, or you don't like want to risk him taking damage, it might be worth it.
Oh, that's interesting. What's the timing on that? If an attack, no, not that one. If this character would suffer damage, it may use this superpower, reduce the amount suffered by 1. And
so it's like if he has 1 power left.
Yeah, my Hellfire Club says not contesting or holding, lose 1 power and suffer
then,
1 damage. So if
it says order,
yeah,
it says and.
Yeah, so you lose a power. So you'd have to have 2 power just to do it.
Okay. So it's not like it's not at the same time. Yeah. That's a I'm gonna ask on the forum. So if it's like the same time,
that's fair. That's fair. It's a fair ask.
Yeah. All right. But like, I honestly think that there is definitely room for a discussion of a roster. Like you said, like if you're down to like 1 character and like a tactic card free, like it might be worthwhile to just throw Emma and Hellfire Club in there, just to have like super flexibility. Because at that point, you can literally take whatever combination and Emma and be like, look what I got. And your opponent doesn't see it coming most of the time. Because like, well, are you gonna play X-Force? Or are you gonna play Emma with a bunch of random people that are good? Like you're gonna take your best picks from your roster and who you consider to be like the best characters and play them under Emma. Which like Emma, Psylocke, Logan, and Bill sounds really freaking good to me. Like that's
so the
16.
not obvious part of this is that you can bring an otherwise affiliated squad to the table and choose to be unaffiliated.
Yeah.
Like that's the between the lines thing. Just in case anybody's not fully aware of that. Like you could literally bring a team that would be otherwise X-Force or X-Men or whatever affiliated and drop Emma into it and choose to be unaffiliated so long as you didn't bring any affiliated tactics cards except for my Hellfire Club.
Yep. Which is like, I don't know, like I kind of like the option. I need to test it out for myself to see if it's like, does this actually help me in any way, shape, or form? Because as of right now, Matt and I don't think it really helps the list that much, and we're better off just keeping it as is. But that might change in testing. Be like, okay, maybe I actually want this so I can run like a better character instead of Honey Badger against a specific team.
Maybe it gets a solid meh from me for what that's worth, where I just look at this and I'm just like, that's really interesting. It's going to power Emma up. But for like those characters, unless you have a way to remove the damage, that's a pretty high price to pay, in my opinion. And you're getting better for playing the game well, which I can get behind, right? All other allied characters gaining the power and healing and damage is not good for Emma. So there are going to be lots of situations where if you are bringing this, like you might really be encouraged to be playing the game suboptimally, which unless you actually need power and healing on Emma isn't necessarily a sound approach. If you're just like, no, I'm not going to score these points. I'm not going to contest.
I don't know. I feel like it's better for like Emma missing out on the power and her just like being the cable. Like, let me sit on the spec point and I'll chuck a lightning bolt at somebody every now and then, or an ice bolt, whatever it is. Like,
I mean, it feels very thematic. Like Emma and the Hellfire Club and the way that this leadership works, like this feels very thematic to me. I'm here for it. I'm
like
just
she's
not
gonna
sure
sit in her high castle and just watch people do work.
She like sits in her high castle, decide like watch people work, decide when to like reap the rewards of this, whether it's all her or other characters on the table, and then on top of that, like it is like we're talking like high stakes for this stuff. Right? Like if you don't have healing factor models, you're talking about losing power and damage, health on a character for the trade-off of more power on Emma. So like, it's like making that decision is one thing. Choosing when that decision is best for you is another. I don't know. It's a really interesting card to me. I think it's very, 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 very interesting.
I think there's like I think this is like a big brain card. Actually, the more I think about it, Because like you could
Yeah.
have like moments of the game where it's like I'm gonna lose 3 characters this round.
Right. It doesn't matter what I do, I'm gonna lose them. So
Yeah,
get what I can from them. And
yeah.
let's
I'm
move
gonna
on.
gain 3 power,
Mhm.
and now I can just be super Emma this round.
Right. No,
so
it
it's
sounds
kind of-
huge.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, I just drop Domino, drop Mark for Death, and see what the flexibility. Like if it actually
Hearing you
feels
say
worth
drop
it.
domino just makes me so sad.
What else? Okay, so drop Domino or drop Pyro. Who do you pick?
Pyro.
And then drop Pyrotechnics.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
But Pyro
Make room
is
for
so good at 15. Like cable.
So okay, sure. But
Cable.
let's go back to last
No,
week.
listen,
Last
listen,
week's
listen,
episode, week
listen,
before?
listen,
Like,
listen. Cable, Psylocke,
okay. Yeah.
23 Pyro.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, sounds miserable. I hate it. I hate everything about it. What does Emma do for you there?
Let's me
comes in
run
over
Emma.
Cable, and then
so-
you drop who?
Oh man, you go Emma,
You
23,
upgrade who?
Logan, Psylocke.
Okay. So, I mean, going back to, I don't remember if it was last week's episode or the one before that. We were talking about like bringing role players versus bringing the best in class, right? Like, I think you're into
But
that paradigm.
Emma's leadership is all about best in class. Like, or is that what you're saying?
No, it is like, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, literally, like if we're talking explicitly about Pyro, right? Like Pyro under Hellfire is literally the difference between a less survivable Pyro versus a Pyro that's able to pull off more pyrotechnics, right? Like it's a zero-sum game. Yeah. Like either Pyro gets even better or he gets even worse. So I don't know. Personally, I look at Pyro and outside of Brotherhood.
Okay, so you know where Pyro's really, really, really good.
Into
let me slow and root Malekith. Let me slow and root Hulk. Let me slow
Thanos.
and root like Thanos. Like let me slow and root Corvus. Like Firewall is such a broken ability. Like I hate saying broken, but it's such a good ability. Like
no, he's amazing. He's also very fragile. So there are going to be games where he's just going to get tractor beamed in and removed before you get to do all of that. And I'm not saying that that's not meaningful, right? Because even that means I've decided to pull in your 3 threat, no matter the cost, effectively, to make this happen over the course of rounds 1 and 2, more than likely, right? Like,
but then
we're not talking about like maybe 2 and 3.
I know we're talking specifically about my list right now, but it's like the only time Domino comes out is if I don't feel like 23 is worth it. And like the only times that really is going to be a thing is into like Mystic heavy affiliations or I don't know, like scenario wise, most of the times I prefer 23 because she's just so mobile.
Golly, yeah, she's great.
Like it's so hard to say I'm going to take Domino over 23. And the only time that I can fit both of them, I'm probably taking Pyro over Domino.
So
because it's going to be 19.
My 10 cents on that would be that Domino is better into bigger, badder models than X23 is. X23 is better into wider rosters.
Yeah, but
it's not that she can't do damage to big boys. It's that Domino's crits, rapid fire, like her crit ability on offense and defense, and then her rapid fire gives her some interesting opportunities against the larger models where X23's frenzy ability gives her more. Yeah.
Domino's also like amazing into healing factor and exceptional healing people. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like I played a game against Red Cathal and his Domino basically shut off like Psylocke. Like he like murdered Psylocke with Domino because I couldn't use healing factor because he just didn't take damage.
Like X23 wants to drop 5 damage into you. That's what she wants to do. She wants to drop 5 damage into you, daze you or KO you, and move on to the next target. Domino wants to drop like somewhere between 1 and 17 damage into you, like every single time she rolls 4 dice.
Yeah. All right. I don't think we answered the question that we brought to ourselves. But I
is there an answer? Like that's a bigger question. Like, is there an answer to this?
It's so subjective. It really is. Like, it's like, what do you prefer? I definitely don't think that the game is in a place where dual affiliated is really worth it, except for like very, very corner case situations.
So the counterpoint I have to that is that dual affiliation is where there is room to explore right now.
Yes. Yeah. I just feel like one I really want to do is CS Kingpin with foes. Like I think that sounds amazing. Like places
after working on dual lead like criminals for the better part of a month, I gotta say I think that foes and Kingpin seems like a way easier approach than Shadowlands Daredevil and Kingpin. Like it's
like one of the corner cases that I'm talking about though is I feel like cases
where you have drop domino, just like nope, drop domino.
Where it's
done here,
where there's an easy crossover of characters, and you don't have to worry too much about tactics. Is where dual affiliated is great.
Sure,
and then as we've been talking for probably the past like 30 minutes, Emma creates a whole nother question in with this because now I can take best in class, and maybe it's just a better roster than taking somebody like Cable or She-Hulk or Doctor Strange.
I mean, it definitely adds to the question of these higher threat leaders, where it's like, well, if I only had a lower threat leader, we're like, okay, there you go. What if you had a lower threat leader?
Well, let's talk about like if I wanted to run a Mal Cabal list, and I can't run Mal Cabal at whatever threat, like because it seems like really weird. I had Emma and Hellfire Club, and now I got great characters. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like if I look back at my Nova list last year, if I had freaking Emma with Hellfire Club, like that's an easy shoe into that list.
Yeah, but again, it's like, what are you actually getting from it? Like, I'm so much more afraid of you bringing Malekith at lower threat levels than I am with
that's
you
fair.
Bringing.
I guess that's a bad example.
Hellfire at
lower threat levels. I don't know. I think for X-Force, X-Force really interests me with Hellfire Club. Just because I have a lot of healing factor characters, and I have a 5-threat leader who isn't always useful.
And it's especially interesting in this field of mutants because of the, also a mutant, right? So you've got some fun theme synergies, but then on top of that, you have some like kind of weird affiliation markers, right? Where like Logan the Wolverine is not X-Force affiliated, but he is X-Men affiliated. And then you've got like Sabretooth, who is, or Tooth, right? Like so, like the You've got him, right, where he's what, Cabal and Brotherhood, but he's not X-Force or X-Men. So like you've got some interesting pieces that don't necessarily affiliate the way you want them to, so you're splashing them. But like I can see this being like more of like a third or even a fourth affiliation on a roster that like makes it very, very interesting on the table. But I just think you want to have an idea of what it's actually going to provide your team.
Yeah. Which is why I think I need to do some testing. I don't know. I'll probably end up dropping Domino to run Emma just to try it out.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
just
if
because
you're not running
I think
Domino anyway, right? Like if she's not actually hitting the table, then
I think Domino is like my least played character in my entire roster, which is really weird to say, but it happens.
This 4-threat renaissance is nutty for me. Like it's just like revamping like so much of how I look.
That's the other thing too. Is it's like I would love to play Domino under like Emma. I need to evaluate
it's
my life.
Literally giving her an extra hit.
Like it's just like, oh, maybe I do drop Pyro. I don't know. It's so difficult. This list is so difficult right now. I've never I don't know. Like I feel like right now is like some of the hardest time to build lists, but it's also the most fun to build lists because there's so many good characters in the game.
I feel so happy back with Black Order. So just in case everyone hasn't realized this by now, if you've been following the saga of Sam, it has been basically that I haven't really had a place where I felt comfortable and just that place where you just feel like you're home for a little while. And I've decided to come back to Black Order. So I got kind of chased off of Black Order because I saw some success with it, and there were some very strong opinions about whether or not it was a fair or even fun roster to play into. And bottom line is that it's probably not fun to play into. But
I had fun in our game. Our game was actually really fun.
I think I'm going to take credit for that. For what it's worth.
That's fair. I mean, like, if the game had turned out and had been against like anybody else turned out the same way, I still think I would have had fun with it because I was out attritioning Black Order.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
well, and that's never been my approach with Black Order. Has been to like be like, oh, I'm just going to attrition down your throat. It's literally always been like, okay, like let's play a points game. The difference between me and you is that I have like nearly perfect dice with one of my characters, and you have dice on your side, and then I bring this other like super unfair character that basically staggers everyone on your team every single round, or at least everyone with a meaningful activation every single round.
Cable can do that with good dice and a lot of power.
No dice.
All right.
So basically, I've been playing Black Order for the past week, and I feel great about it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move into these listener questions.
All right.
We're gonna skip segment because we're already pretty long.
Fair enough.
Nikki, 1 pizza, 2 toppings. What do you choose?
Ham and pineapple every time.
So ham and pineapple. For me, it's pepperoni and pineapple.
Fair. No, that's fantastic as well.
Yeah. That's like whenever we get pizza, it's typically pepperoni and pineapple.
Yeah.
Let's
All
see.
Right, so what if you have 4 toppings? Because 4 toppings I feel like is like the upper limit of what's actually like
so
pizza,
pepperoni,
like a salad with bread and cheese.
Pepperoni, pineapple, bacon for that smoky flavor.
Nice. Yep.
And then mushrooms.
Mushrooms. Okay, so for me, it's pepperoni and pineapple. So if I get to go up to 4, ham becomes pepperoni. Like,
okay.
Almost like across the board. Pepperoni, pineapple, jalapenos, red onions.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about me, but I don't like the way jalapenos taste.
Fair enough.
It's not like they're not spicy, but like I just don't like the taste of them.
Oh no, I want the spice and I like the flavor
of
them. So it's the hot sweet salty that you get out of that foursome. I'm here for it. Okay. Absolutely.
This one's more of a comment, but it's kind of a question that was asked quite a while away. New condition idea. Fear. After taking damage from an enemy effect, the character taking damage advances short away from the characters causing the effect. The advance resolved by the opponent, not character controller. Fear token condition is then removed. And rage, similar effect, but towards that's aggressive, to be honest. But like
it's handing out, like you're giving someone the ability to like have like one turn of aggression.
I actually really kind of like the fear one. Like I could see that actually being a thing. That's like I don't want to see it everywhere, but I could see certain characters like maybe if Null ever came to the game, that'd be amazing for Null.
That'd be interesting. I feel like if Thanos could give someone fear and then Shuri could just like hit them, I feel like that's
true.
Like, whoop whoop. Get away. Bye-bye.
I do think strong, though I do think though that the controller should be the one doing the move because like
interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's less broken if the controller is the one that does the move. But anyways,
interesting.
Next.
No, those are interesting. I don't know if I'd like to see them in the game or not. They're interesting though. That's a interesting space to explore.
From Finger Guns, if I were a listener, I'd want to ask Sonic Constructs plus Super Giant Spender. Is this a game night meme or a competitive option? What's the difference between those two things anyways? So I think that you should throw Psylocke in your Black Order list and let us all know if it's a meme or a competitive option. I don't know.
I agree with Kenny, and I think I need to throw Supergiant and Psylocke into convocation.
What's crazy though is like Supergiant and Psylocke in combo actually makes sense. Like, they're not bad picks for it. Like, they're not bad picks for combo.
It's very interesting space to explore. I'm not opposed to it. That's I like the roster that I've got. I guess I'd be dropping probably like Bill and I guess. Lockjaw seems like a tough cut.
Yeah,
Magic would be a tough cut. So I'd be looking at some tough cuts to fit that into the roster the way I have it. But I guess if I drop like OG and Buster, it could be interesting.
All right, Ron Wick, what's your tech for dealing with Bill? Psylocke. Like, to be honest, like Psylocke is great for Bill because she has the wild let me get rid of power before you can use it, before damage is dealt. Yeah. So she could potentially get rid of his power before he can use it to get rid of a damage. And she can go Mystic Damage, which is his weakest defense. So it's like, I love Psylocke for taking care of Bill. She's actually really, really good at it.
I'm gonna toast Hyperviper's 5-0 run in the West and say that if anybody beats his Bill, that's probably the tech you want to bring against.
True. True. Yeah, I think he said because he's 5-0, played one game with Avengers, one game with X-Men at the beginning before he could get Bill.
Yeah, and the Avengers game wasn't actually Avengers, for what that's worth. It was unaffiliated.
So yeah, he's 5-0 now. So he's going to cuts, and we'll see if he can take Asgard all the way to the finals.
Oh yeah,
cheering for you. All right,
Church Bill.
Ronald Wick also asks, "What's your all-time favorite pizza place?"
Round Table Pizza.
In
Southern California. Round Table Pizza, Southern California.
Round Table.
So
like Round Table was the place that we would go for like end of the season baseball, like after baseball was done, and you'd go there and like because it was cheap and shitty pizza.
Oh wow, you had me up until the very end there. So the thing about Round Table Pizza that people don't understand is that every single Round Table Pizza is its own restaurant. The way that their franchise works is that like basically like you have to be a pizza joint. And you get to use their branding, but like other than that, you can do just about whatever you want with that restaurant.
So maybe it was the local one that just sucked.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like I used to work for Round Table Pizza. That's part of the reason why I say that. I used to be the dough guy at one of the at a Round Table.
Did you spin the dough? Are you a dough spinner?
I mean, honestly, to be perfectly honest, the dough maker is like the offensive line of a pizza joint. Like it's not a great job.
That's fair.
And it's nowhere near as fun as like, hey, look at this, I'm gonna make a pizza. It's way more like I'm gonna lift like 50 pounds of dough and run it through this machine again.
That's terrible. My cousin actually owns a pizza joint in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that said, I think that you can have better pizza than Round Table, but if you've got a good Round Table pizza around you,
okay, so
you have a resource there.
Round Table's trash. Mine was I still honestly like Papa Murphy's because they always had really good ingredients. Like all their stuff always tasted fresh, and like there's nothing like being able to like cook the pizza to your specifications.
That's fair. My wife and I have very disparate opinions on what a perfectly cooked pizza is. So I completely understand, like, wanting to be able to cook it yourself to get the...
So we could probably like describe what Papa Murphy's is because apparently people do not know what Papa Murphy's is sometimes. Okay. Papa Murphy's is basically like if you were to go buy a frozen pizza, but it's not frozen. Like they put it together right in front of you and then give you like a pizza ready to be cooked. And then you take it home, put it in your own oven.
Yeah, it's like Subway.
But pizza.
And
you cook it.
Right. And you're responsible for cooking it.
Yeah.
It's not like Subway where they're like, oh, I'll make this hot for you.
It's like I haven't had Papa Murphy's in like so long just because like they don't have them over here. Like I haven't seen a Papa Murphy's in a hot minute. But it's like, man, like I always remember them having like some of the best pizza deals. Like get like a family size extra large pizza for like $10.
And like okay, so like you want my honest answer about like what's the best pizza you can get? Like the one that gives you a 2-for-1 special.
Yeah,
like pizza's pizza. Like
pizza's pizza. Just put enough sauce, cheese, and toppings on it.
You know who never gives you that 2-for-1 special? Freaking Round Table. Let me tell you why.
Okay, you know what though? I will say, I used to like hate like capital H, capital A, capital T, capital E.
Wow.
Hate Little Caesars pizza. Like it would like upset my stomach so bad.
Wow. Okay.
But I don't know what they did. Like Little Caesars is actually like my go-to lately.
I think it's just because you're like where you are. You don't have any choice.
That's fair. Like we have a Papa John's, but it's okay. There's like Papa John's is expensive for pizza. Anyway, let's move on to the next question.
Hold on. I have a pizza
Okay.
question. I have another pizza
Okay.
question that I think is very important.
Okay.
Online, telephone, in store. How do you order a pizza?
Mobile app.
Online. That would fall under my online category.
Technically, no, because mobile app you get rewards and you get like special deals.
My point is basically like zero personal contact, telephone personal contact, or actually in person personal contact.
Well, I go pick it up because I'm not paying a delivery fee.
Look at you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a telephone caller. My wife gives me crap for it like every single time I do it. But like I'll just call up the place, be like, tell me about your specials. Tell me what you got.
I used to like calling pizza places to order pizza before. But like now all the deals are on the apps and online. They do more deals online and in the apps and promo codes than they do over the phone.
So I just ask them. They'll tell you.
I order enough pizza that I know this. That's like pizza's like my lifeblood.
I miss pizza right now because
I haven't had like
good boys and girls in my house.
We haven't ordered pizza in quite a while now. Actually, now that I think about it, at least it feels like quite a while. It might only be a week, but it feels like a while.
It feels like forever if you're used to pizza.
Yeah. Like we probably get pizza like because of me. I'll be like, "What do we have for dinner?" Pizza. like it's my fault every time. All right, sure thing. How does our special snowflake feel about being back home with Daddy? That's where he belongs.
I feel so great, Will. Thank you. Yes, no, it's great. I was very soul searching last week, and I appreciated everyone's comments, both like directly to me via personal messages and things like that, and on the show and everything else. It really did help me kind of reconnect with what I enjoy about this game. And I left Thanos because literally no one likes to play against Thanos. And you know what?
Play what you like.
I'm over it. I'm playing what I want to play. And Thanos has been hit with every single Nerf bat that has hit this game. So if I can't enjoy playing Thanos now, I don't know when I'll ever be able to enjoy him.
All right. The next question also references Thanos. From Jonah. Do you think changing the 50% affiliation requirement for characters to threat value would be good for the game to restrict the Thanos/Malekith splashes? I don't think Thanos is as much an issue anymore, to be completely honest.
I don't care. I'm going to say yes to this because I don't want to see Splash Thanos. I have never wanted to see Splash Thanos.
Thanos should just have a thing on his leadership that says that this character can only be played in affiliation.
I disagree with that too, because like the third roster that I thoroughly enjoyed for this game was literally Thanos unaffiliated. It was just Thanos plus whatever I wanted to run with Thanos on any given scenario.
So what is the thing? Like basically from characters to threat value? Oh, okay, I see what it's saying. So basically you could only play like those characters.
So if you're gonna bring senior Thanos, right? Yeah. And you've got like 8 threat of Thanos on the table. Then
you need 8 threat of other characters.
You need more. You need 9 threat of Guardians.
So 17 or higher.
Yeah.
But that's still most games. Like that's still 17.
That's fine. 19, I'm here for 20. It. I'm here for that. I love that. I love that shift because it changes the every single time a high threat, high impact character hits Crisis Protocol.
It's less impactful bring it into your whole roster. Meta.
Yeah. And the other thing is that as much as I enjoy the splash mechanic of this game, where you're able to bring in those big hitters into somewhere where like it's a team up that you never saw coming, right? I like that. I like that part of this game, but I don't love that kind of elevates the cheap core teams to a higher level.
True. I can get behind that. Actually, I misread that. I thought they were like just like changing it to where something, but like this, like for threat value being the 50%, I like that. All right, Mathematic. What threat value should the Phoenix be? 8+.
9. Let's do it. There's no 9s in the game. Let's bring a 9 in.
Matt Herb. Silent Construct is quite possibly the best reroll tactic card in the game. Do you think it will lead to Psylocke being splashed out of affiliation? All right, you played Convocation. You've played Convocation, and you saw Psylocke today. do you think it is quite possibly the best reroll tactic card in the game?
I do, especially if you can stack it with another one. So that opens up Cabal, that opens up Convocation, and that opens up Guardians.
Recal.
Recal's in completely different territory because of when the recalibration matrix occurs.
And it does both sides.
Yeah. So like I've been running Time Corvus, and I love it. I don't love it under Corvus leadership. I feel like Corvus leadership running Time is kind of sad. But when you can boost the dice from Thanos or just run away like a bitch like I did tonight, like the whole game, that, like time doesn't matter at all. The only thing you're getting out of time is the extra power for Corvus to do more stuff.
Your Corvus was just there. I think you made like one attack with Corvus, and that was it.
Right? It was so scary for you though, because he was just there. So you had to like be like, I'm gonna like do things to Corvus, and I was like,
the entire time, even though you told me you had time, I thought you had reality.
Yeah, that's another advantage to like just like playing out of the norm like that.
So I guess the one thing that I love about that card is typically characters that you're gonna be playing with Psylocke anyways are like wanting this card.
Yeah.
Like everybody in X-Force loves this card. Everybody in X-Men almost loves this card. Like almost everybody. Splashing her, like we talked about, if she's an A-Force, like She-Hulk loves that card.
The bigger the die pool, the more you love this card. I feel like
agreed.
Strange Supreme with 2 hammers.
That could be scary.
Right? And then like you're gonna like do a Poldock turn.
You know what? I think you should
like, oh my god, that is scary.
The next time you get bored of Black Order, make Convocation with Psylocke. There you go. All right.
So I think if you are following along with the saga of Sam, it is basically Black Order, Criminals, and Convocation from here on out. Like that's my focus. It kind of in that order, but I think that the order is probably going to change quite a few times over the course of this year.
At least it's like narrowed down to 3 and not like everything.
Yeah. It's been hard. It's really hard to narrow it down like that, right? So like I like Criminals for very different reasons, but like basically every team I like because they cheat in some way or another. So like Convocation gets to move on your turn.
Yeah.
Black Order gets extra VPs and you get to run Thanos like as close to guilt-free as one can run Thanos. And then on top of that, you've also got Black Order, Criminals, Wizards, Criminals, right? So like Kingpin is just like, what if I just like counted for more? Specifically for me, it's Kingpin Criminals. Like that's the one I like. It's Kingpin. So I just like cheating. Fair. Let's be honest.
So, but like, here's the thing though. Do you think that this card will lead Psylocke to being splashed out of affiliation?
Yes.
I think from what I've seen on the internet, I feel like the answer
the most
to this,
reliable of all places.
Well, in all honesty, like from what I've seen people talking and what you should probably expect across your metas and stuff like that, is probably no. Just because there's like 4 threat is such a high commodity. Like there's so many good 4 threats right now to choose from.
You're missing one very key aspect of Psylocke's kit. Psylocke is, and I don't know how to say this in like a non-cancelable way, but like she's hot. And so like she has like a special place in nerd fantasy land, which is just like Psylocke. I would like to run Psylocke. Oh my gosh, if I run Psylocke and I run this card, I can turn my Helios into the 20 die ricochet blast. I can turn my, whatever attack into a tremendous like just boon of this. Also, I get to have Psylocke on the table, and it feels great because
he's good.
She's hot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. She's good. That's what I meant. Yes. That's what I meant to say.
Anyways, I do think though, like in real talk,
I
think the biggest thing is like 4 threat is such like a contested space right now.
This is a renaissance, man. Like this is insane, right? Like we had Fury and Voodoo and maybe Rogue and Medusa before this that were like, wow, like these characters. We had Enchantress, but like that's like, shh, we don't talk about it. It was in the dark times, but
now you got every single 4 threat that comes out is like contesting every single roster's 4 thought space.
Right.
Like,
No, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Loki, maybe Loki's in that conversation too from before, but like,
but now you got Bill, Rhino, Ulik.
yeah,
Ulik's 5. Bill,
Ulik's 5.
Rhino, Psylocke, Venom, Emma,
Voodoo,
Voodoo,
Fury, Daredevil, I guess maybe if you're into that.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Like
But, like the biggest thing that I see is like I think people are gonna have a hard time finding the argument is Psylocke actually helping out their roster, and in some cases it'll be yes, but I think a lot of people are afraid that she's gonna be too easy to kill, even though she's got stealth and martial artist.
Maybe
That's like been like the biggest argument I've seen is like she doesn't do enough. Oh, Spider-Man.
I don't know. I just look at like a character that can decide mystic or energy.
Yeah, like it's so good. Like the biggest thing when I saw that on her card, I was like, this is exactly what I've been asking for X-Force since they came out. Because I'm tired of splashing Hood. I'm tired of splashing Strange. I want somebody who they bring that has Mystic.
If anybody knows me, they know that I don't want to run Red Skull.
Yeah.
New
and
Red Skull
Psylocke kills Skull.
And Psylocke is literally just like, well, all right. Like you can bring like Psylocke and and Supreme Strange.
Skull's just dead. Skull's
like,
just
gone. Bring me your Red Skulls. Feed them to me on a platter, please. Like that's just like nuts. Let's do this. I'm here for it.
All right, let's move on. Krolsavi. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. How do you feel the game is evolving in the new scenario packet? Where do you think things will go moving forward? I think the game is in a great spot since the new scenarios. I think they've been nothing but good things. And moving forward, I think crises that do come out, I think we'll start seeing those again, like crises that actually come out regularly. Not like probably. So. I don't think they'll be as regular as they were, but they'll definitely be like more than once in a year.
Yeah. All right. You go ahead. And I have some thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay.
Fire away.
And I do think that the rework of the crises should tell people that AMG has a better handle of what they want these crises to be. Because I think every single crisis in the game right now is playable and good. I still don't think Senators is toxic. Some people may disagree with me on that, but like, I don't know. You have to have some fun stuff for people to like try and jank, you know?
Yeah. So I think that the closest thing we have in the current crisis spread to toxic is Senators. And it is because there are four-ish. I think we covered them at the top of the show, right? Like there are like basically 4 teams that play Senators better than everybody else.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is like you look back at like old days, it's like
number one, there's still 4 of them. Right? Yeah. Like it's not like there's one affiliation that's just like, oh, I dominate on Senators. No, there's like 4 affiliations.
But it's one scenario that have like clear advantages.
Yeah.
All the other scenarios are fairly even, to be completely honest.
And to have more than like a 15% chance to play on it, you basically both have to think that you're the best at it, so you're both bringing it.
And then at that point, it comes down to who's better at it, and who plays better.
Right. And that's something that I think you still have to consider, like no matter what. So going back to the first topic of the show where we talked about like, is it better to play fair or to try to get an advantage on your scenarios? That's a huge question. Like, how good am I at this compared to everyone else?
Yeah. All right. Rari, I've gotten to the point where I just want all character cards horizontal. The mismatch is just not great to look at for or against digital releases of all current character cards in horizontal format. I'm for it, man. Like, I have like probably OCD because like, it bugs the crap out of me, and it like horizontal cards are typically easier to put on a table, because they're actually shorter than a 3 instead of like just bigger than a 3.
Now, like 4-foot tables are not uncommon, right? So when you take like 4 on each side, so it's like 3 on each side, that leaves 6 inches for each player. Boom.
Like on the side, so much better. I hope they eventually get every card in horizontal format.
So okay, so this goes back to my second comment on the crises, which are that I hope that we continue to see basically print and play crisis legality. Period. That was the hardest point for me to get people into this game, was to be like, no, sorry, you have to buy MODOK to get Alien Ship.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like,
I would love to see new Crisis released from time to time that aren't just like, hey, we're gonna update the Crisis pack, but like literally have it be more like, okay, a new character released. This one has a Crisis, so we updated the affiliation list and the Crisis pack.
Yeah,
Here you go.
And the print and play.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
I would love to see that. I'm all for the print and play stuff. Now, this is a like, honestly, we almost had a whole topic about this like 2 weeks ago, where I was like, print and play, like, is it a thing? Like, we don't really want to get into that because, I mean, support your local store, support AMG. Like, that's how we get to play the game that we want to play together. But at the same time, like, if it means getting that guy that you know,
then allow it. Allow it at your store. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's like, okay, so like here's my thing on it. I think like big major events, typically people going to that are gonna have like the actual card because they probably spent the money on it anyways.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like your local game store, I feel like absolutely like print and play.
You know, on the bigger or regional event, like that's another thing where it's like, look, just talk to people about it.
Yeah, like you were missing an Iron Fist and you got an Iron Fist.
Like now you have an Iron Fist. Like nobody cares. Everybody wants to play. Like outside of that weird random encounter where the dude's just like, no, F you.
There's always one. There's always one.
Yeah, like there's always going to be one. But like outside of that weird random encounter, literally everyone in this hobby wants to play the hardest fucking game they can. Right? Like, I don't want to play against Dizzard being like, oh, I'm just going to bring this and this because, like, you know, whatever. Like, no, I want to play against, like, what he thinks he can do the best at. And I want to bring what I think
especially
I can do the best at.
Especially if I paid for, like, a convention and a major event.
I mean, like, okay, so, like, let's take Nova, for example, right? Like, I spent the first day of Nova looking for an Iron Fist Luke Cage pack.
Yeah.
Because I needed it because I forgot stuff.
But I don't have Luke Cage to bring you.
If I had paid more attention to what like was actually in my case, if I paid more attention, had been more proactive in my communication, I'm sure I could have got one. Yeah. But like in the end, I did find one because it was at a convention. I got the box. I was able to actually offload that box to somebody who couldn't find it in their local area. So like at the end of the event, like everything worked out great. Like another MCP player got a box they couldn't find otherwise. I got the card I needed for the day, even though I didn't use it. And that was that.
Like I think, totally lost it. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, all right.
Mathematic. Will Hellfire Club run its primary affiliation competitively or just a flex on our primary ship? I think you're gonna have people just like Dormammu are gonna try and run best of the best under Emma and see how it works out. And I think we had a lengthy discussion earlier on Hellfire Club. I don't think we need to go too much into detail about it.
No, I agree with you. I think that there is interesting space to explore. Excuse me, I'm burping. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. Like
Sweet
it's
baby
like
Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus giving me the burps. But basically, yes, I think that this will be competitive. I think that people will bring the best of the best and try to do something with this.
I mean, Logan's got healing factor and is one of the best 4 threats in the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like you just bring like some healing factor cards and this and the best of the best. And
which is why it's like, why do I not just put Emma on my list and have like this like healing factor death squad?
Space. All because of space, right?
But Marked for Death is so easy to drop. I'm not going to get into this again.
No, okay, now hold on. I don't mean to like push you back into this, but like, it's about space. But it's also about want to, right? Because like,
but I kind of want
last
to.
episode. If you want to do it, then go for it, right? Because like for me,
I have to. But my thing is, it comes down to testing. Like if it tests and it like plays great, sure. If it tests and I don't find a reason to do it, then why am I doing it?
So trying to find a home, right? For me, from my approach to this game is a blend of thematic, nostalgia, and game mechanics. It's not like any one more than the other. Yeah. Like I don't want to hamstring myself by being like, I want to bring these guys. They're terrible, but I'm going to bring them anyway. That's not how I want to play.
I did that though for 2 years.
Yeah, I know. I understand what you mean, but I'm fortunate in that I love enough of the IP that I don't have to pigeonhole myself like that. Yeah. I can literally just be like, no, I like Marvel. Like I want to do this and see where it goes. But
I think that's probably like my only issue with it is I never really cared for Hellfire Club. I don't really care for Emma, but it's like I can also play the characters that I really do want to play with like more ease and not feeling like I'm like never mind. I don't feel like I had to play Cable anyways. Just because like I love playing Cable, so I guess it's kind of a mute argument in my point or moot. Next question, Rusty. He has 2 questions. When we see a nerf to the following tactics: Deception, Follow Me, and Sleeper Agent, because Hulk. So will we see a nerf to the following tactics? Deception. I don't think Deception, like for the longest time, I didn't think Deception needed a nerf. I think if you were to do anything to Deception, it's just make it cost 1 and not playable across the table. Like make it like it has to be Mystique's turn and cost 1.
If it's Mystique's turn, I feel like Deception is fine.
That's fair. Okay.
I love. I think it was Omnis that said something about like having to be range 2. I love that.
That's
it's thematic. It like turns on martial.
I guess that's fair. Yeah,
and like keep it free, but like maybe put it on Mystique's activation and make it 2. So that it's range 2. So like then that. Like it's a completely different card. It's still worth bringing. It's still worth splashing Mystique for, but it's not the same like level of obscenity that it is now.
Fair. Follow Me, I don't think it needs a nerf because it's already on the restricted list and it's very corner case on who actually wants to use it. Yeah. And it's like it's only good because that team wants to use it. That's the only reason why it's so good in those situations. I don't see that card ever really getting a nerf unless they just ban it altogether. That's really it.
I think if anything, they'll change the range on it and just make the range from 4 to 2 and just call it good.
Sleeper Agent, I don't think we'll see a nerf just because Hulk.
Golly, Sleeper Agent Hulk is so miserable.
And also, it's like that's kind of like the point of the card, in my opinion, is to be able to do stuff like that. Yep. That's why I don't really see it getting a nerf. Because damn well somebody in testing probably did that because wow, this would be really cool on Hulk.
Come on, like who? Okay, like I am very vocally uncomfortable with the like semi-public playtesting that occurs in gaming in general, right? Like that's not AMG, that's not anything. That's just like how this stuff works in general, and I would be appalled if Sleeper Agent Hulk was not included in the playtesting regime for this card, because like that's like such an and sorry everybody, but like that's such an obvious move in my opinion, where you're like, hey, what if I take the best character in the game and I put this card on him? What happens then? Like that's just like, why don't you just do that like as the first possible idea you have for playtesting an idea. So I like to think that was a well-known commodity when it all came down the pipeline.
And then one I want to bring up, because I've heard it talked about before, is like restricting or nerfing exceptional healing, which I don't agree with at all. I think if you were to change exceptional at all, is maybe make it to where it can only be played in like the mutant factions, like make it like tagline Brotherhood, X-Men, X-Force, Weapon X. Like maybe that's it.
You need to.
I don't think it needs it though.
Limit Blizzard and Strucker from having.
No, and I agree with that. I don't really think it needs it, just because it's like if you restrict it or nerf it, then the card like is. Do you remember playing the game when exceptional healing was considered a bad card to take?
I wouldn't say that I remember when it was being a bad card because of my background from playing Black Order, where
that's fair.
Exceptional healing was just like one of the
bane of the
cards
existence
that you brought,
but like
to like be an even bigger speed bump for me.
But you think back to like those days, like the game was so slow and like the games were long, and it was more about VPs than killing. So like people were like, well, why would I take exception to like my characters like never die? Like I don't need it. That was a point in time, if people do not know. Like exceptional was considered bad or not worth taking anyways. They also say, Rusty says, today's day drinking is brought to you by the Rusty Yak. And why is pizza in Australia so much better than the US? I cannot answer that question because I've never had pizza in Australia. But if you could like fill us in.
Fly us out there. No. Don't fill us in. Fly us out.
And we'll give you our
fly us out, and I will give you my honest opinion on Australian pizza. And by us, I mean literally me
Oh.
My wife, my 2 kids, Dizzard,
Oh, okay.
his wife, his 2 dogs,
Yeah,
and
2
Hyper
dogs, too.
Viper. And we will come, and I will give you. We will give you our honest rogue agent's take on pizza
In person, live.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can record it if you want, and like I think you should like pair it with like an event going on in Australia too. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's
All
got to
right.
be an event. If I can't spend the weekend playing MCP, like, come on, I'm not there to be a tourist. Jeez.
Oh, you know what? How about an MCP event in a pizza house?
I'm here for it.
All
Bring
right.
it.
Okay, so do you have any closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts are: I'm really glad to be back with Black Order. Like, feels great to be home. Even though my house is a mess, every game feels like an uphill battle.
But you won.
Yeah, and that's so far. I've been lucky enough for that to be the record. But it's nice. It's nice to be back playing the game that kind of like the way that I understand it, which is kind of wild.
Honestly,
I hadn't thought about it
same.
this way.
Like I can't agree more because like granted I've been playing X-Force longer than you back with Black Order, but it's like it's the same feeling for me. It's like I'm extremely enjoying the game so much more than I have over the past year. I'm never gonna listen to Omnis again, so when he listens to this, he can like write this down and quote me on it. Because even if I'm losing with X-Force, it's still better than like winning with like Cabal Malekith. I have more fun losing with X-Force than I do like crushing souls.
Yeah.
So,
No, like being back here reminds me why I brought Black Order to Nova, and it feels better than it did at Nova, which is just like
when you crush my soul.
My God, I have so much experience playing this, right? So like going back to like the reps conversation. Yeah. Well, I'll never apologize for that, for what it's worth.
That's fair. I don't expect you to.
Going back to the reps conversation, like I have literally just played so much Black Order that I have almost forgotten how much I know about playing the affiliation. Yeah. Because like jumping to any other affiliation, it's like I don't realize how much knowledge I'm losing just by losing my understanding of like, well, I have Corvus and I have Thanos and they do these things. And I also have Proxima and she's also great. So it's nice. It's good to be home. It's fun to be back.
I guess my closing thoughts are Psylocke is great. Both of the cards are great. X-Force is on the rise.
Yeah, watch out.
Watch out. X-Force coming to an event near you. No, in real talk though, like I like same thing. Like I think this is kind of like sentiments to like kind of why we started the show to begin with is like find your why you're playing the game and stick to it.
Yeah. And innovation. So like one of the things that like really struck me from the conversation last week was seeing the game through a specific lens is very important.
Yeah.
And that reiterated something that was one of my takeaways from LVO, which was just like seeing the game through a lens gives you a lot of focus that you don't necessarily otherwise have. And it doesn't mean that the only thing or the only way you can play this game is, through that lens. But understanding what the vantage point from that lens and like what that lens is giving you is huge in this game. So I can understand a little bit more now that I've been, back here for a week, which we'll see if it holds for, 2 more weeks, right? Like it'll be like the longest I've played an affiliation since the last time I played Black Order. But that's kind of the mindset is just like, understand this lens, understand the game through this lens, and understand, the insights you can gain to the game as they apply, just in general. But understanding your vantage point is huge. That's all.
Absolutely. And with that, as always, we have been the Rogue Agents, and you, once again, have been the long-winded listeners. I don't know. It's 2 hours.
It's only 2 hours. That's all right. That's all right. We did good.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Good day.
Good day. Good evening. I say good day.
In this war, there's no surrender. He's not alive, but he's right. Where the hell is Bucky? Touche.